Tesco issued its older staff with a dictionary to help them to understand its younger staff. Phrases such as hepcat, daddy-o, and have been replaced with the, oh, God. I've screwed it up, I haven't even started. That's it. Show's over. I'm going home.
Really?
Oh, alright then.
Alright. Take two.
This week, Tesco's issued its older staff with a dictionary to help them understand its younger staff. Phrases such as hepcat and daddy-o and have been replaced in the lexicon of youth with stitch this granny and can I have my knife back? It was a week in which a coven of screeching identikit blonde bimbettes formed in the Big Brother house and clung together to repel those that are not like them. Yes, Channel 4 have served up the only group that it's still okay to bully on TV on the basis of who they are. The old, the fat and the ugly. The crowd outside hadn't read the script, however, and reserved its boos for the only black girl who went in.
Oh, no!
More booing at the England-Brazil football match, which surprisingly didn't go as badly as everyone feared it might. Let's face it, we thought we'd get slaughtered out there, but a promising performance didn't stop large parts of the crowd booing almost everything that happened. They booed Frank Lampard, they booed back passes, and they booed everything that Brazil did. Some friendly.
Yeah.
Welcome to Britain.
Thank you.
And so, it was a bad week for the government to launch an initiative to return good manners to our fractious society. More respect, please, said the government to deaf ears all round. And if Gordon gets to hear this, he'll be furious. He knows how to punish rebels. In short...
Be polite!
Now I'm totally exhausted.
I bet. So this, Tesco's is, teaching their staff to be, what, a bit more hip?
No, apparently they're concerned that the older members of their workforce, because I think they're doing the right thing in giving shelf-stacking jobs to old people who can't afford to heat their homes.
Yeah.
Poor dears, because it used to be the preserve of teenagers to do these mundane, meaningless, going-nowhere jobs, right?
Because it happens through the night.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
I don't know.
I think, it happens through the night, but, you know, old people need their rest, don't they? So...
So do I.
Oh.
And I haven't been getting any of it at all, because a bird has stationed itself outside my window. And is going, tweety tweety tweet tweet tweet. Tweety tweety tweet tweet tweet. Tweety tweety tweet tweet tweet. From about 4 in the morning. Well, it doesn't stop. And then there'll be a pause and you think, oh, thank God it's flown away. Tweety tweety tweet tweet tweet. Oh, it just doesn't pack it in.
Haven't you got double glazing?
Well, only it's not double glazing that I would describe as double glazing, but I suppose technically it is, yeah.
But
the glass itself is double glazed. It's just a shame about the inch gap between the door and the frame, you know.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't really keep out the wind or the rain, in fact, and definitely not sounds. Is it wrong to set fire to trees in parks?
If they've got birds in, yes.
Right.
That's nature, though.
Yeah, I know. I dislike nature. I mean, look what it's done to me.
Nature, and you don't get on.
No, definitely not. So I'm wired already. I'm like all strung out because I haven't had one, let alone 2 naps today. And this is the start of a double week.
Oh dear.
2 shows every day.
Rock and roll!
In the morning and talking my face off at night. I'm going to be unconscious by Wednesday, probably.
Well, just think about all the shelf packers that are going to be up all night tonight. You know,
I'm not certain that they do that. Don't they just pack as you go? Because otherwise you'd go in there and there would be nothing on the shelves come 5 o'clock. No, I think they do it as you go.
No, they definitely do it all overnight, because have you ever been there in like Tesco's or Sainsbury's on like a Friday night, and, you know, most of the shelves are bare. You have to go back. You definitely have to go back. You can't do your full shop. You have to go back the next day and get, a few items like bread and milk.
Well, this is, if they are listening, this will be a help to them. Stack your shelves during the day, you morons, because when you go in there and you're after some, focaccia bread with, some sun-blushed tomatoes, then, and it's not there, then you're very disappointed. You, like, vital ingredients are missing from your basket.
I've seen, actually, when I've, caught a taxi home, I go past
a taxi?
Yeah. I go past the supermarket on the way home.
Taxi?
A taxi.
Since when have we been able to afford taxis around? Yeah.
Oh, I have to chip in.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. It's only fair. But I go past the supermarket.
In other words, it partly is paid for you.
Yeah?
Right. I'm out there hitching a lift after the show.
Well, I do 3 hours a day.
Oh, you poor baby. You must be exhausted.
I am.
This is going to be 7 hours on the air. Do you know how intense that is? Outside, I may seem calm. In my mind, I'm going...
Wow. But in this supermarket I've been passing each night...
Which is it? Tesco's, is it?
It's a
Summerfield.
It's a Sainsbury's.
Without mentioning any brand names, Sainsbury's, yes.
There's nothing wrong with it. But I've seen the shelf packers in there on roller skates going up and down the aisles.
Really, that's an excellent idea.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, because they're so very large, and if you want, if you want to get from one side to the other, walking with your actual feet, an absolute nightmare.
Surely health and safety is not caught up with those...
exactly right, yeah.
Those shelf packers yet.
Security is obviously not intensive overnight, no. A golf cart would be good as well.
But some stores close completely to restock their shelves. Some stay open and just have like one cashier, and that's it. And everyone else is stocking the shelves.
Yeah, like casinos, like radio stations. They never close, so they can never be clean.
Yeah, I know.
Like there's bits of food stuck to the desk here that have been here, well, since...
You last...
the dawn of time.
Are they eat your crumbs from last Saturday?
No, I don't eat in here, nor do I drink. That would be wrong.
It'd be rude.
Isn't it against the law?
Yeah,
well, it depends which station you work at. Some stations don't even allow you a cup of tea in the studio.
Well, you had trouble getting the rich tea biscuit I offered you yesterday.
Well, it turns if you don't actually have tea with rich tea, it turns to concrete in your mouth and like it super glues itself to your teeth. It's impossible to drink without tea's too wet without it.
They should come with a warning.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Lucy Liu is off to sunny Spain. Viva España.
It's a bit early for a holiday, isn't it? It's only, well, it's June now, isn't it? You can go on.
Well, much like your leader, Ian. She has a very casual attitude to work. Just strolls in whenever she likes, you know. Yeah. I mean, if she'll look at her watch, if she happens to be passing the building, and then she'll come in and do a show, but she won't go out of her way.
Oh, it's just a lucky day if she comes in.
Yeah, exactly. So she's off to sunny Spain. I think she's going to be here next week. She made this big play about, I'm going to come home, I'm going to rush straight from the airport, because I really care.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, sure you do. It's got nothing to do with me. She wants to come back for two reasons. First, she wants to tell us all about her holiday and bang on about her dog. And secondly, if she don't come in, she don't get paid, right?
Yeah, because she's used up all her holiday time.
Has she?
Probably.
Because, she sold it to me as she was coming back in order to help me. She's going to rush from the airport as though I owe her a favour. That's got nothing to do with it.
So you have to get her something in return then?
Well, I missed her birthday. See, this is how, this is an indication of how evil women are. If it's our birthday, lads, we will mention it until our jaws seize up. On and on and on we'll go.
It's best to start mentioning it about 6 months in advance.
Yeah, exactly. In order to help people not to forget. Yeah, we're only trying to assist. Women, on the other hand, will mention it just, it's my birthday. Like, you can barely hear them say it, but they've delivered the information. You haven't processed it or taken it in or remembered it.
No.
But they have delivered it, and that's the key. And if you don't act on that, then it's, well, you might as well just throw yourself off a tall building, because they'll never let you forget it. It's just, it's my birthday, about a week's time. It's like, what was that? Nothing. And that's what she did to me, and I completely forgot about it, and I was going to get her some, well, I thought, what do you get for a woman who has nothing?
Booze.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But, so I didn't, because I forgot about it, because she neglected to remind me. It's her fault.
And she's got enough of that in the system anyway.
Well, I can't say. I'm not going to dig myself in that hole. So I didn't get her anything, but I thought about it, and that's what counts.
That's very, very nice of you.
I mean, is she going to, is anybody expected to bring me something back from Spain?
No.
No.
Yeah, you just keep on giving.
I do. I am the present that keeps on giving. Yeah. Anyway, I'm Nick Abbott. This is LBC.
0870 90 90 973.
How may I help you?
So, have they started having sex in the Big Brother house yet?
No.
You know, they did exactly what I said that they should do. You know, sometimes it's actually a burden being so right about everything all the time.
It's tiring.
It's pressure.
It's tiring.
Yes, it is pressure, because if I mean, you can only imagine this, but if you've never been wrong about anything, then then everything you say, people are, you know, waiting for you to trip up and make a mistake. So far, nothing. I amaze myself. But
Well,
I said, did I not say to you, I forget who I've been working with. I've been working with so many shiny, happy people over the past week or so, I can't remember who I said what to. But I said on Friday night, just before the Big Brother mess happened, what they should do is throw one good-looking, straight man in there, as though they were feeding the lions at the zoo, slam the door shut really quickly, and then watch the blood fly and the fur get, you know, they'll just start eating each other to get at him. Particularly those four who all look exactly the same, because they will fancy themselves as the ones that he wouldn't be able to resist.
Of course.
And they were all super chummy, because they're all identical. Even they don't know who they're talking to. It's either a mirror, or their twin, or they've got no idea, but they're all exactly the same. And they will assume that the old and the fat and the ugly ones haven't got a chance. And so the girls who were keen to be friends for life, I really love you, like that, they will suddenly be at each other's throats, and then the hilarity will ensue, you see.
Of course. Well, he's got all the power.
Yeah, apparently so. But they went one further, one step more evil than I had predicted.
What was that?
Well, he has the ability to chuck them out, or to throw them to us, for us to chuck them out, or something.
He
like
has
that.
to
I don't
vote.
know who really cares? But
Well, you guessed correctly so far.
yeah. Well, it wasn't a guess, really. It was just, I thought, that, what could be the most evil thing for them to do?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did. It's another £1 million idea I had, but crucially, not in time.
Shame.
And everybody's been banging on about the thing, which is also from Endemol, which was happening in Holland, where someone was going to win a kidney. Did you read about this?
Oh.
Everything comes as a surprise to you all the time, doesn't it? It's like, what? June?
Well, it's always
June?
it's always a nice surprise then when I hear about it. Don't you find that?
Someone's decided who to give their kidney to.
Well, it was a show like Big Brother from Endemol's and from the Endemol production company, who were responsible for this mess.
Yeah.
And of course, all of the columnists. And you have to feel sorry for newspaper columnists, because they have this blank piece of paper in front of them on a daily basis that they have to fill. And the poor dears haven't got a thought in their little heads. And so what they do is they just look at what other columnists have written and either agree or disagree with it, which is why all columnists write about the same thing all the time. And the ball started rolling on this show idea that two people who needed a kidney or they were going to die, I think it was two, maybe three, were competing to win a kidney from a donor. And everybody was throwing their hands in the air. Now they've gone too far. This company is the embodiment of evil. It's run by Satan himself, and on and on and on they went. And it turns out it was a spoof. It was a stunt.
Oh, right.
Because I thought this is not the kind of thing that the Dutch people would do, because they're, you know, unfailingly nice and polite and tall and blonde and gorgeous.
I've seen them.
And yeah, I know. And I wouldn't say a bad word about any of them. And I thought, this doesn't sound like the sort of thing that the Dutch would do. More like the sort of thing that we would do, but we'd call it the NHS. New reality show called the NHS. You might come out alive. And it was a stunt to highlight the fact that people aren't carrying around donor cards. There's a lack of donor organs in Holland, as probably there are here, because who carries around a donor card? Hands up, who carries around a donor card? No one.
I had one, but
You lost it.
Well,
You chickened out.
No, when I switched my wallets to, got a new one at Christmas, when I switched my wallets, it didn't have as many compartments in it. So I had to really choose which cards I was going to carry.
Right. And so you dealt death to whoever it was that was in the queue behind you, just so you could fit in an extra credit card.
Yeah.
Or a picture of your pet sparrow, or whatever it might be.
Yeah, afraid so.
That is weak.
Well, no, you kind of, I had to choose, and it was, I had to either choose my cash card, which I'm going to need. I'm going to use that more often than I'm going to use my donor card, aren't I?
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're only going to use your donor card once, aren't you?
Exactly.
Riding around like a top person in a taxi, waving his cash card at poor types like me beside the road, thumbing for a lift.
Well, so the donor card's somewhere at home.
It should be the law. They should slice and dice you and take every little tiny bit of you that they can use on other less fortunates. Well, actually, in respect, it's more fortunates because they're not dead yet.
Yeah.
But people who are more fortunate than you, but less fortunate than the majority, it should be the law. It should be an opt-out, not an opt-in.
But surely, when do we fill in a form when you first get your donor card? You fill in a form, don't you? And so if anything happened to you, they can check your records, can't they? And they go, oh look, yeah, he filled it in.
Oh, what you mean? Go to our excellent joined-up computer system. Yeah, it's only cost us £20 billion, and it doesn't really work as in any accepted sense of the word. No.
Oh.
So yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll apply for your records.
Yep.
And then 3 months later, when you're just a maggot-infested lump. I don't mean to give anybody an offensive image when I say that.
But it's nature. It's nature.
I know, isn't it awful?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about creationism in a little while, but first of all, let's get to some of these people. Liverpool. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Nick.
Andy.
Yeah, you said something about giving a dictionary to members of Tesco staff.
Yes.
Well, I'm a police officer. I've been a police officer for 17 years. I'm a Scouser, you might have guessed. But I'm in Greater Manchester Police, which doesn't go down well as it is.
Right.
You try and stop some of these kids now, and it's like talking to Ali G on acid. We need a dictionary.
Well, at least you've got mace.
Well, I've got a gun.
A gun?
Well, yeah, but it's starting to get very tempting, Nick. It's unbelievable out there. I've been a policeman for 17 years, but I've never heard kids talk like they do now. And you go into the centre of Liverpool, and it's easier to understand people than these kids that you stop, And, it's always are you stopping me because I is black and these guys are white, It's frightening. And I thought a dictionary would be good for us, because, most of these kids are thicker than a whale omelette anyway, but...
A whale omelette? Haven't heard that one before. I'm going to write that down. Even if you are a policeman, I'm going to nick it off you.
Oh, you're welcome. That's why we're all leaving in droves.
But at least you've got a gun, though. That's fantastic. I think you need to get much more trigger-happy. Will you do that for me, Andy?
Yeah, I've been armed response for 5 years now, but it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger now. There's so many of us now. It makes me wonder how long it's going to be until we're all carrying,
I can't wait to get mine.
Nick, you just played a clip there from South Park. I've been meaning to ask you, do you still watch it?
You know what, I don't anymore, no. Is it still on?
Oh, it's awful. I think they're on to the 11th season.
Is it no good anymore?
Oh, it's just flat out not funny. The first 3 seasons were probably the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You since, 97? Brilliant, but now, I think it's just what you call a cash cow.
Well, you know what, I think it's much like being promoted. Series get locked in once they're successful.
Yeah.
And at the point at which they're successful, that's usually the peak of creativity. And so almost by definition, the moment you get locked into a long contract, then the quality of what you do starts to go down. It's the same as getting promoted to your level of inability. Yeah. Which is why the country's so screwed up. It's because every organisation is being run by someone who has been promoted because they were good at a lower down job. And then they do well at that, and so they get promoted to a medium level job. And they do well at that, so they get promoted to a higher level job at which they don't succeed. So that's where they stay. So in other words, everyone that's running anything has been promoted to the level of inability.
Well, it's like that in my job. It was the same when I was in the army. It's the same at my job now. I've heard people describe it as lions, like by donkeys.
Yeah, well, that's a very famous old phrase said by someone who was very famous and old.
Yeah.
It's like a history lesson, this show, isn't it?
Eh?
Never mind. Anyway, you got the mace, and you got the gun, and you've got the taser. You're almost armed, tooled up enough to go out and go clubbing.
Yeah, in Essex. And our cars are nearly as fast as theirs now.
Yeah. Okay, well, the best of luck, Andy.
Oh, cheers, Nick.
All right, cheers, mate. Ta-da. Keep your eyes peeled and, your finger twitching. Just give them hell. Here's one in Bracknell. Oh, Jethro.
Just make a comment on that last guy's phone call.
Pardon?
Can I just make a comment on the last guy's phone call?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's a negative then.
Yeah, go on then.
All right. It's just, why do all Liverpool people sound the same? There's not much class, down here in the south, you can sort of, from an accent, quite often you can tell, like, what social stratum a person comes from. But I think they all sound the same from the pool, don't they?
Can you do us a favour, Jethro?
Pardon? What's that?
Don't pick on people from Liverpool.
No,
we'll never hear the end of it. You're going to start on the Welsh next?
No, the Welsh are fine. The Welsh are fine. I mean, they got a decent football stadium now in Cardiff, so it's great. But it's just one thing, I mean, there's one thing I have noticed about Liverpudlian people is that they all speak in that kind of warm-hearted, sort of down-to-earth, straight-talking style, don't they?
Well, it's probably like, there's probably nuances to the accent that's discernible only by people who live in Liverpool. I mean, to us, often, Americans just all sound the same, whether they're Canadian or American. We've got really absolutely no ideas. Almost 300 million people, and to us they're identical. But to Americans, of course, somebody from New York is almost indecipherable, someone who comes from Los Angeles.
That is very true. That is very true, yes, so they perhaps when they take it. But it is slightly worrying that a member of the Boys in Blue is slightly worried about going out in the streets, isn't it? I mean...
Well, they're a target, let's face it. I mean, the rest of us can slink in the shadows. They've got a giant woman's bosom on their head. Do they still make them wear those things? Those giant, silly helmets? They've got to be one of those...
No, it's a protective thing, isn't it? So that when the glancing sword comes down on top of the head, it deflects away from the cranium, and so the cranium's not split in two.
Right, in much the same way that it deflects people's attention. They drop their sword because they just can't believe what the policemen are wearing on their heads.
Oh, that might be true, yeah. And it also gives them an extra foot above everyone else, because...
Yeah, well, that's true enough.
Yeah. But what I was really wanting to talk about was the deceptive nature of women when they want to catch you out, when you're trying to remember the significant dates in your relationship.
Like a birthday?
Or do you remember the first time, this is the day we first met? Or our first, all those things, and when we got married, and when I introduced you to my mother for the first time?
It's a test that you will never succeed at.
No, because it's all the test is, see, if you can't remember it, and you don't bring home the flowers, or you don't bring home the present, or you don't take them out for a meal, you know why it is, Nick?
Go on.
Because you don't really love them.
Yeah, you don't care enough.
No, that's what it is. It's all an emotional test. If you really, really, really did care about our relationship, then you remember all those significant things.
Yeah.
And you would not go to the golf club meeting, the annual golf club meeting that night, because it's a very special night for us. And you would defer from that meeting with the boss that could possibly give you the promotion, because really what comes first is our relationship, not your career.
That's quite right. You selfish, evil pig.
Yeah. And it's not because they're tall, vain, insecure, or neurotic. That's not it at all. You can
That's
put
a
that
dreadful...
right, if you were thinking that, you can put it right aside, because every time you do dance with that other girl across the room, a social function, who could possibly be said to look slightly more attractive than your wife or partner, it's not because you want to make them feel, welcome or spread some good social spirit.
Yeah, you can put it any way you like, Jethro, but one thing is certain. It's all over between us.
Lucy, hi, it's Paul.
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
So the Church of England yesterday suggested that schools should teach the controversial theory of intelligent design in science lessons.
Oh, no.
The Reverend Jan, the Church's head of education, said that the belief that man was created by an intelligent being, such as God, should have a place in the national curriculum. The comments come despite warnings from academics that intelligent design and creationism are anti-science and are a veiled attempt to smuggle fundamentalist Christianity into teaching, like these nutjobs in America who insist that all books about Darwinism are removed from school, and you must teach that everything was made in 6 days.
Oh.
Like that.
Don't we already have that? Isn't it called RE, I think?
Yeah, but they don't insist that is the literal truth.
Right.
I hope that they don't, anyway.
Well, yeah.
Intelligent design... What do you mean,
Well, it depends which school you go to, I guess.
I think there was an academy that was run by some religious fundamentalist, which, like an academy in this country, which did say that that's exactly what you should do. And they insisted that all, references to Darwinism and the origin of species and all that was removed from school, and you must tell the children that everything was invented in 6 days, just recently, and that, dinosaurs and fossil records, well, that's just an accident. You'll just pretend that didn't happen. Intelligent design is often seen as a more acceptable version of creationism, the strict biblical theory that God created the world in 6 days, 6,000 years ago. And you know what? There was a Simpsons episode on. They tend to show the same ones over and over and over again, but this was about creationism. Lisa.
Yeah.
Goes to some museum which has an exhibition of fossils and so on, which is just the sort of thing that they do, and the religious neighbours also go, and they're outraged that they're suggesting that fossils are 5 million years old.
Yeah.
And the dinosaurs lived 60 million years ago, because that's not what it says in the Bible at all. And they say, well, don't you have anything about creationism? And the guy in the museum pointed to a small exhibit where, like a cartoon hand came down from the clouds, and as though a puff of magic made a tree and a man and the animals to the music of What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers.
Oh, really?
I couldn't believe it. In America.
They have to do that.
They get away with such stuff. Wow. In fact, they get away with more on The Simpsons, on a children's cartoon, a family-friendly children's cartoon, you can actually get away with on an adult talk station. I mean, there's things that they say on that I think... I could never say that on the air.
And, that's
Isn't that incredible?
Like 6 o'clock in the evening.
Well, yes. It's for children.
But surely...
No.
Oh. But you can, surely the answer is just to give all the evidence to, the children, and they can decide themselves what they want to believe in.
Yes. Okay. Yes. But I think that the religion hasn't got any place in school at all.
No?
No, they shouldn't. It should be completely removed from school. That is my personal religious belief, and I hope you will respect that.
I respect that.
Here is Barnsley. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Nick.
Yes, Louise.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Good. You were talking about the 24-hour supermarket.
There's people in the Big Brother house that talk like you. I've got no idea what they're saying either. What?
Thanks. Right, you were talking about the 24-hour supermarket.
24-hour supermarket, yes.
Yeah. I can't see the point in that.
Can't see... I'll translate as we go along. You can't see the point in that? Yes.
No, because, I can imagine it being, empty after, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that it would actually be worth their while staying open, because they've got to have the lights and they've got to have the staff and all the rest of it that goes with that. Yeah, I don't really get that either. There can't be that many people outside of, say, Earl's Court who want to shop for food after 11 o'clock at night.
No, well, my dad and I went in one.
In Barnsley?
Yes, we've got the Tesco down the road that's open 24 hours, and it was about 10:30, 11:15, and there was 3 people shopping there.
I know. It's well, I don't know. I can imagine. It's great when you go to a supermarket and there's no one there, isn't it?
Yeah, that was fantastic, and there was always open space, and there was one person on the till, but things had to be under £15, everything that you brought. But it's not like you could do your shopping at midnight or whatever.
Well, they opened the shop, but didn't let you buy very much.
No.
Why not?
Because we're in Barnsley.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that.
I don't know.
So they opened a supermarket for 24 hours a day, but after a certain time, you can only buy 15 quid's worth of product.
Yeah, unless it was just on this day, because there was just one person there at the quick till.
Right. And they were, and because she happened to be sitting at the quick till, they insisted that everybody buy things that she can deal with quickly. Because there was a sign above it that said quick till. Yeah, and you can't disrespect the sign. Yeah. Well, you're making a lot of sense.
So yeah.
Hey, do you keep in touch with those people that run, Big L? This is a radio station that, Harvey Goldsmith, in that, series of programs that he did, which I thought was, thoroughly entertaining. He looks like a sort of cuddly attack dog. I mean, you wouldn't want to be on the end of his rage, but if you were his mate, it would probably be quite amusing.
Like my dog.
Yeah, but he went to this radio station called Big L, which was in, mystifyingly, Frinton-on-Sea, which sounds like some sort of music hall comedy destination that doesn't actually exist, but it's there. And they're running, a pirate boat station on land. You know the pirates used to be on boats? Yeah, well, they're recreating a boat, but it's on land. In Frinton. And they're all living together in the same house. That's just truly, deeply weird. Why are they living together in the same house? I mean, these are household names. You remember when, back when DJs were a household name. They were, nationally famous. Now, if you put a gun to my head, apart from the guy on breakfast, I wouldn't be able to tell you who's on Radio 1. I've got absolutely no idea. I'll give you £1 million if you can tell me who's on Radio 1 at 11 o'clock, Chris.
How
about 4 o'clock?
Vernon Kay?
9. Well, see, I've got no idea. But that's almost certainly not the right answer. But then, back in the 70s, it was like Mike Reed and Diddy David Hamilton
That's where they're going wrong.
What? What?
That's where they're going wrong. Everyone's from the 70s there.
Yeah, well, everyone's from the 70s, and that's the audience that they're trying to get, isn't it? I mean, everyone that lives in Frinton-on-Sea is between old age and death, that sort of sliver of decrepitude. But they're properly famous people, and they're all living like students in the same house together. It's just, why are they doing that?
I don't know. When I was there, I was just told, it's just to try and recreate that feeling, and they live in London. But they can get trains in, so I never got it either. But if that house went there, I couldn't have gone there, so...
And you stayed in the house with them?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's one of the strangest experiences I've ever had.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
It's good.
Okay. All right, got any disgusting, unpleasant, shocking tales?
Not really. Mike
No.
likes to paint a lot.
I missed that.
Mike really likes to paint a lot.
Paint?
Yeah, and write poetry.
Oh, well, he is an ideas man, as he said on that programme over and over and over again. Okay, listen, thanks a lot, Louise. Best of luck. All right. Ta-ta, dear.
Bye.
This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott. Are we watching Big Brother in there?
Yeah, I have, yeah. Yeah, I went to go to bed at 10 o'clock on Thursday night. I thought I'll watch the first 5 minutes. I'll go to bed. I'll watch the whole hour.
Are you watching them sleep yet? Because then you know you're really in trouble. Then you know you need intervention.
Not yet, no.
You need friends to come in and drag you from the set if you're starting to watch them sleep, because that's just weird.
You need E4 for that, don't you?
Yeah, you do, yeah.
I got E4+1, so I'm watching them sleep an hour later.
Yeah, well, that's right. If you, overnight, if you've got E4 and E4+1, you're looking at them sleep, and, the camera will just be on, like, a bit of the wall or something. There's just absolutely nothing there.
You can just hear them breathing.
And then you'll flip over to E4+1, and it'll just be somebody else who's sleeping. And then you just, hour upon endless hour, just flipping between the two to wait for something to happen. And nothing ever does. Every now and again, but that's about it. Here is, has anything happened in there yet?
I don't know, I only watched the launch and that was it. I haven't...
Right.
Is it worth sticking with, do you reckon?
I don't know. They're going to have to ramp up the evil a lot. Because so far, I'm not that interested.
Well, it's only day 2, I'm sure
that's right enough, yeah.
I quite like the bloke they've sent in. I just think, I think he's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. I did think they're going to do one of two things. They either put a gay man in because they've threatened us with like a steroidally muscly gay man who's mad about sex. It's like another one of those. Another one of those.
Yeah.
And I thought that'd be a huge mistake because the house will continue to be far too girly.
Yeah.
Or they'll throw in a guy who's good-looking, and then all the girls can fight over him, and that's exactly what they've done.
See, what I think they'll do, which is what I said yesterday, is that they'll put in another bloke for the older women.
Yeah, which is a very good suggestion, yeah. Because the older women will feel discluded, because he's, well, if he was a woman, the papers would be calling him a stunner.
Oh, yeah.
And so, presumably, unless he has taste outside the norm, he won't be interested in the old and the fat and the ugly.
Well, we don't know his taste, you know, maybe he is, yeah.
And so the younger blonde types, they will be, well, killing each other, sort of trampling over each other to get at him, yeah. And talking about it is, silly, because it's essentially a silly programme on the surface, but you know what? I know that they all know that they're on TV, and, even after time, when they sort of relax and start to act relatively normal, they still know they're on TV. However, it is a microcosm of our society. That's us, that is.
Yeah.
All those, people who just want to be famous. I mean, there's so many people like that. It's not a tiny minority of people whose career trajectory, they're thinking is having sex with a footballer, and that's it.
Well, I saw a clip of it today, just a clip. And, I don't know which one of the girls, but one of them was saying that all she wants to be is a wag.
Yeah, incredible.
That's not a career.
Well, apparently it is.
But
A giant swathe of the population, that's what they want to be. Famous.
But the thing is, you could make a career out of it. You can. That's the thing, that's the scary thing, you can make a career out of being a wag.
Getting married to a rich man is not a career. It's just getting lucky.
Being rich isn't good enough, because someone said, well, what if you just marry a rich, successful businessman? And she said, yeah, but if I walked down the street, I wouldn't have paparazzi taking my photo then, would I?
Oh my God.
So he has to be rich and famous so that paparazzi want to take a photo.
It's more precise than I just want to be famous.
Yeah.
They want to be Posh Spice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Specifically. Well, unfortunately, girls, that job is taken.
This guy think. No!
Finchley, hello, Ray.
Hello, Nick.
Ray.
How are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
Fantastic. Back to supermarkets. I work in one. Fortunately, mine doesn't open overnights. We shut at 10. But whenever I go to a 24-hour supermarket, it always seems to be busy through the night.
Really?
And they tend to have about 4 tills open, which somehow never seems to be enough. You know, because it's amazing how many people do their shopping at night.
I would be amazed. In Finchley, eh?
Yeah, well, this one's in Free and Barnet. That's also North London.
Right.
And, well, it's not really a busy area, but, you know, people do, you know, even at 3 or 4 in the morning, people are there stocking up. And you do find yourself having to weave around the trolleys and, you know, like cages of stock that they've brought onto the shop floor,
So you work in a supermarket. Don't tell us which one it is, but,
no, of course not.
do they, because there's been this big scandal lately of people cutting mould off meat and then, you know, pretending that it's fresh, or opening a packet of whatever it might be and changing the date on the inside, and does that go on?
Well, in my store, we're very strict on that. As soon as something like is slightly out of date, it has to be written off and destroyed.
Right.
You know, even if it's perfectly good, you know, quality, you know, dates really are only a guideline, but, you know, for legal reasons, we need them, you know, and we have to obey them.
So it's a clean bill of health over at your place?
Fortunately, yeah.
Right. Waitrose, I bet.
No.
All right, thanks for the good news, Ray.
Okay.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da. Here is Catford. Trixie.
Hello, I thought
Hello.
you'd forgotten me.
No, you're there.
Yes, I'm here. Hi. Oh, it was great to hear that the Mail and Sunday's doing some more quality stuff, isn't it?
Well, you don't talk about adverts.
Oh, sorry. Can I talk about music?
Go ahead.
Oh, I love 10cc. It just reminds me of my misspent youth. So
10cc, the first album that I bought as a grown-up. Well, not that grown-up, but Sheet Music it was. I was saying this the other day. I stand by that album. It's a fine piece of work.
Yeah, and I've so many things happened to me during that period of time.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Anyway, yeah, you're smoking tonight, Nick.
I am not.
Yes, you were.
It's illegal.
Is it? Oh, I mean, okay, well, never mind, you know. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, yes, shelf stacking. It's actually strange to see elderly people stacking shelves.
Yeah, you're right. It does seem a bit. You sort of double take when you see an old person working in like a big shop, don't you? I mean, if they were in a little fruit place, or in a shop that they own themselves, then it'd be perfectly, you would accept it straight away. But when you see some old geezer in B&Q or something like that, you think, what's going on here?
But but you see, I also think it's sad because they've raised the age limit. You really should be working until whatever age. They encourage elderly people to go out.
They encourage elderly people to go out and work by screwing up their pensions. Thanks, Gordon.
That's yes. I mean, he's well. That's a brilliant sound.
They were looking forward to putting their feet up and sparking up a cigar, as long as it's not in a public place, for the rest of their lives, and then suddenly they're over at home base.
Yeah, and the thing is that they have to do demeaning work because that's actually all that's available.
Exactly.
To them.
Yeah.
And I think that's awful. I mean, some people really do want to do it, and it makes them.
No, they don't.
Valuable. Some do. But I think those that feel they have to do it because their pension's been reduced. It's appalling.
Oh, Struth, I hope that doesn't happen to me. I hate work.
Well, to be honest, I think I'd top myself. I really do.
Oh, that's a happy thought.
It's a very happy thought.
Always trust you to come up with the most positive.
No, but I did think about my misspent youth. I can tell you about that.
No, that's all right, Trixie.
Okay. But as for Andy in Liverpool, keep your chin up, Andy.
I wouldn't keep your chin up. I'll keep it down.
Well,
don't present your chin to them.
But I really do respect the policeman. But I think, isn't it the people who wear the what was it you said, tit on top or something, helmet? I think they're on the beats. They're the ones who go just wander around the neighbourhood and check things.
Like a target, yeah.
Well, I have to say that there have been some more in certain areas, and it does add an air of confidence in the younger communities, because they go around and they have a chat to the younger people in problem areres.
Yeah, they need to chat to them, all right.
Well, yeah, I mean, certain areas around the Catford area, and they help with the good feeling, so they know what's going on. They know the neighbourhood kids, and obviously they know who to see if there are any
who
problems.
to taser, yeah.
Well, one hopes they don't, but there again, one hopes the kids don't shoot them. What the heck does one do in this day and age, then?
You have to stay in and triple lock your doors. Will you do that for me, Trixie?
I do always.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, dear.
Thank you, Nick.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott. We're going to go away to come back? Let's go away to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something really funny about Carol.
What?
Talking about supermarkets again, 2 supermarkets last night ruled out buying meat from farmers who use animal remains in feed if an EU-wide ban is lifted. Let me just read that again in case you've got a confused look on your face.
Yeah, you lost...
Too many words.
Yeah, I don't understand any of it.
2 supermarkets last night ruled out buying meat from farmers who use animal remains in feed if an EU-wide ban is lifted. So at the moment there's an EU-wide ban on putting animal remains in the feed for moo cows. Or whatever farmyard animal it may be.
Right.
And they're considering lifting it. An EU advisory committee is spending £1 million on tests to see if meat and bone meal from pigs and chickens is safe to use as fodder for cows.
Why wouldn't it be?
Because cows don't eat meat.
Oh.
But Asda and Sainsbury's said they would not stock the meat, as customer needs had changed. An Asda spokeswoman said, I don't think customers are ready for it, blah, blah, blah. The National Farmers Union said that remains had been used before, but must be proved safe if used again. Maybe I'm a bit slow, maybe I'm a bit simplistic, but you know what? If an animal hasn't got canines, it doesn't eat meat. Pounding up dead chickens to feed to cows doesn't seem like a good idea on any level, does it?
I don't know. Maybe there's some sort of...
God, here we go.
Well, there might be some, good multivitamin and mineral source they're getting from it, or...
Wrong!
That's where BSE came from, isn't it?
Exactly.
But
BSE came from feeding cows that eat grass...
Yeah.
The brains of other cows. I mean, how on earth does that make any sense? It's going against nature.
But why would they have ever given, like, the remains of other animals to cows in the first place?
Cheaper.
Surely there's
because it was cheap.
Surely there's some sort of research done into it, yeah.
No, it was just cheap, that's all. They didn't research it, they just thought, here's a great wheeze, we won't have to, let them roam free in the fields anymore and, suck up all that expensive land. We can just keep them penned in a shed and feed them brains. like some sort of Hammer House of Horror movie.
But they ate it.
They're people!
They still ate it, though.
Well, yes, that's right, because they're cows and they're hungry, poor things. Absolutely insane. And it seems perfectly logical to me. It's truth. Every time the government makes a decision...
Yeah.
Before they make a silly mistake, they should come and ask me. I'll set them straight. It's just common sense. Do cows eat meat? No, they don't. I could have saved us all of those unpleasant images of cows on fire with their legs in the air.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Why did they turn them upside down? That was a very odd thing to do, wasn't it? Surely you can, like...
You are great.
Surely you put them, like, on
Why did they turn them upside down?
What?
Set you off, we turn you upside down.
Yeah, but, you could have put them... They could have put them on their sides and, interlock their legs to save space.
He said, why did they turn them upside down? You are priceless.
I give up.
We should, mount you on the wall. Give me a hammer and some nails and I'll do it right now. Here's Electric Parade. Hello, Tallulah.
Hello, you.
Hey, you.
Hey.
Speak.
When you started your show, you were talking about birthdays.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I have got such a weird relationship to birthdays. It's unbelievable.
Try me.
Well, you see, it's you are a copy of your parents.
Oh, I hope not. Go on.
No, when you grow up, you sort of look at your parents how parents do things because.
Yeah, I am my father. Yes.
well.
I am your father. Go on.
How is that? Well, I completely ignore birthdays, or I do the best presents ever. And
right, well, mine's coming up in August.
Pardon?
Mine's coming up in August. Don't make a mistake.
Because when I was a child, my dad always forgot my birthday, so I had to go to my dad.
Your dad forgot your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, when's your birthday?
Hey, Daddy, it's my birthday.
When is your birthday?
2nd of July. Oh,
July! Well, there's an early birthday present. All right. You can take that with my compliments.
Yeah, but that was really weird. And then my mother forced me to remember all the birthdays of my, nephew rubbish.
Well, like the old poet laureate said, they bleep you up, your parents, and remember that always. I'm sorry, Tallulah, we've got to go for the new news.
Hello, it's all my little friends with all their little dreams.
Tweety, tweety, tweet, 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 it goes. Oh, struth. On and on and on and on and on. How do you get rid of a bird?
Can't you complain to your council? Surely they could do something.
Tweety, 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 tweet, tweet, tweet. Over and over and over again. It's a nightmare.
What have you tried so far?
Sandwiching my head between two pillows. It doesn't really work.
Yeah. Earplugs?
I'm going to have to get earplugs, yeah. Because I'm going to have to do a lot of napping next week. Because I'll be playing
rock and roll
in the morning and then talking my face off at night. And the worst part of it is I'm going to have to do the rush hour on the tube in the morning. I am dreading that with every fibre of my body. Because now that it's getting hot, I was on the tube today, you're covered in sweat by the time you get to where you're going. You need a shower at work. It's a nightmare.
But that would feel a little bit weird having a shower at work, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does. I've done that once, and it does feel like you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
It just feels a bit perverted. They've got a shower here, haven't they?
I believe they have one in the basement, yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't want to really expose yourself to that level in a place of work, do you?
In front of your colleagues.
Yeah.
Yes, quite.
I'd stay away from that. But don't forget your bottle of water on the tube.
Yes, absolutely.
They keep repeating the warning messages at the moment about that.
Do they?
Yeah. Every 2 minutes, I think. I timed it.
Somebody should take the... there are certain stations, Earl's Court is one of them, where they've obviously got people who want to be on the radio. In fact, I did think about it myself, because it took me forever to get into radio, and even now I'm still on the periphery. But I thought I could be a station announcer. That'll keep my hand in.
Be brilliant, wouldn't it?
But they've given the microphones to people who just will not shut up. And they can hear their booming voice, you know, crashing around the station, and they just love it. Like some DJs. Here's a tip if you're on the radio. Turn your headphones down. All DJs that I know are totally deaf because they turn their headphones right up.
Yeah.
Because when they turn their headphones up, they can hear their voice, and then they just get lost in the lovely sound of their voice. And this is why they all sound like, hey, what? You know, that's why they all sound like that. It's because they're just lost in this cacophony of their own deep richness. Turn your headphones down, and then you'll speak like normal. And you won't be like, hey, DJ! So that's a tip, actually. That actually does work. Because in no ordinary experience do you hear your own voice really loud. It just comes at the same pitch as everybody else's, your voice. But when you're wearing headphones in a radio studio, the tendency is to whack it right up. And so you're hearing yourself really loudly, which is very unusual. In the same sense as if you push your fingers in your ears, then you hear yourself quite loudly. You know what I'm saying? Which is why the Bee Gees used to sing with one finger in their ear so that they could hear themselves.
Did they?
Above the cacophony, yeah.
So why just one finger, though?
Because you have to hear the music in one ear and in yourself in the other.
I see. But I bet they looked a bit stupid.
Well, they're the Bee Gees. Here's the M11. Hello, Gary.
Hi there.
Gary.
Yes, the food industry.
Yes, Gary.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Well, loud anyway.
Yeah, just a couple of points. I've loaded out of many places. I'm a trucker, and one of the places in Turkey, in Norfolk, I went to, where they process turkeys. I'll say no more than that. Round the back of the place were these huge chutes firing out. Well, you can imagine what they're firing out into these tippers, and this guy was telling me that absolutely nothing gets wasted, and never to eat economy burgers. And what doesn't go into various shaped products gets fed back to animals.
Sounds lovely. Well, speaking of someone who's only just recently started eating meat again after a 20-year hiatus, I have not graduated to meat that I can't identify as cuts yet. Sausages and burgers are not on my menu yet. I'll creep there slowly.
Nick, I'd leave them off the menu.
Yeah, all right.
And eat as much organic everything.
Yes.
I know it's more expensive, but if loading eggs out of a place, there were the ones running outside, looking all happy and cheerful, eating the seed, and right next to the barns where it was pitch black and awful, where your cheaper eggs are made.
Right.
It's not rocket science.
Okay, thanks for the news from the inside, Gary.
No problem.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da.
Cheers, bye-bye.
I always do buy orgasmic eggs, because I just think that, if you're going to, if a chicken is going to squeeze those things from its bottom, then it's best if it's having a happy life before it does it.
But the thing is, you can't just have one thing organic and the rest of your food not organic?
Well, yes. Well, it depends. I mean, if you're doing it in order to make your body a temple, then yes, everything has to be orgasmic. But I just pick and choose from which I think would be less disgusting. Like eggs, I think it's quite right that chickens should not be stuck in some sort of hellish nightmare of a existence. You know. They should be running around doing chicken things, whatever disgusting things it is that they get up to, and similarly, chickens themselves.
So you're choosing organic, for the health of the food rather than the health it's gonna give you,
so that the animals are happy.
Yeah.
Before they're slaughtered.
But you know, the non-organic food that you're eating is just undoing everything else.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it, as I say, to make my body a temple. I'm doing it so that I eat less. Like, I'm not that bothered if my broccoli is organic, for instance, because I don't really see that there's much difference.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the amount of chemicals I've thrown down over the years, it's not going to be. Who cares, right? So, and broccoli doesn't have to be happy before we kill it. But chickens, I mean, if they're stuck in the shed, that can't be good for them. And the other thing is, you know, that feeling that you get if you trip. But you don't quite trip, and you get that surge of adrenaline that goes through you, and it's almost that sort of unpleasant, sort of feeling.
Yeah.
It's like a burst of chemical inside you.
Yeah.
Well, imagine what it must be to be in a slaughterhouse, having lived a horrible, cooped-up life, and the moo cow in front of you is getting a bolt through its head. I mean, the chemicals that are going through that animal must be just a bubbling cauldron inside, which you'd have to think doesn't make the meat taste that good because it's being bathed in adrenaline and whatever else it's pouring out. If on the other hand the animal is laughing as it gets killed, then the meat will be relaxed and tender and juicy.
Really?
Don't you think?
Not really.
Absolutely, I do. I think that just makes common sense. Yeah, of course.
But they're still coming to...
Always with the questions with you.
They're still...
You must have been a nightmare child. Mummy, why? Mummy, why?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Well, they're still coming to a horrible death, aren't they? Death is horrible, so, you know...
Yeah.
That's not going to make it any more...
But at least they're laughing the little moo cow faces off.
Well, I'd...
Tell them a joke, and then stick them, and then put a bolt through its little head. Oh.
How can you go to the grave happy? Can't happen.
Oh, I don't know. The guy who married, Oh yeah. And now her name escapes me.
Anna Nicole Smith.
Anna Nicole Smith. Yeah, I bet he was laughing his face off. Teeth were flying across the room. He was laughing so much. Here is Notting Hill. Hello, Jack.
Hello, you were saying about the cows as they were laughing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that just be the laughing cow cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your colleague was saying.
Right. Laughing cow cheese, yeah. These are the jokes, folks. This guy's got material. Any more?
Not quite. But just regarding the food.
Yeah.
Okay. If you get wild salmon.
If you get wild salmon, yes, translating as we go along, yes, wild salmon.
Okay, which is obviously caught in rivers naturally, and we've had people out on a bender all weekend, and they all end up going swimming, and they all drown, and all the fish eat off the dead people. Then what you can do is get all those toxins into the wild salmon, and you'd have non-organic wild salmon then, wouldn't you?
Right. Okay, good thinking, Jack. You keep thinking, because that's what you do best. All right. Cheers, mate. Anybody really understand what that was about?
No.
I think the point that he was trying to make was that if fish eat meat, well, humans is a bit of an extreme example, I think. I think the moral of that story is don't go on a bender and fall into a fish farm. But if fish eat meat, then cows can eat meat too. I think that was the basis of his argument, or at least that's how you presented it when you wrote it up on the screen there.
That's what I managed to construct, yes.
Right.
That call.
But that's a silly thing to say, because some animals do eat meat. It's the ones that don't eat meat that you shouldn't give meat to. I mean, that's just... I mean, that's so blindingly obvious. don't give cows meat. Cows don't eat meat.
Well, obviously they do, because if you give it to them, they're going to eat it.
If only that policeman were here with his gun.
This is London.
For 10 in the morning and never after 4:30 in the afternoon.
Prince William was on the front page of the snooze paper today, but it didn't really have anything to do with him. It was just somebody what he used to go out with, Kate Middleton. Now, did she dump him or did he dump her?
Wasn't it a mutual split?
But that's not what the papers were saying, because they had pictures of Kate Middleton after they'd stopped going out with each other. Oh, she's holding up well. Here she's smiling. Well done, Kate. Don't top yourself, dear. That sort of thing. She's really missed out on the big fish, that kind of thing.
Well, I think it was a mutual split, but, you know, the papers just like to take sides.
I think Prince Philip did the dumping.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think he came down from the top.
Prince Philip?
Yeah, I think he made the decision.
He said.
Yeah.
And they translated that as get rid of the bird. He actually meant I'd like more pheasant. Prince William's ex, Kate Middleton, has a new date. One of his former love rivals, shipping heir Henry Ropner, 25. She really is picking out the... I mean, what does she find so attractive about this string of millionaires she's going out with? Shipping heir Henry Ropner, 25. Isn't that irritating? Shipping heir. Wouldn't you love to be a shipping heir? Wouldn't that be fantastic? Even if you don't like boats. Even if you don't even want to see the sea. Just the money. Think of it.
Yeah, but would you have to,
yes,
continue the family business?
No, you'd sell it straight away, and then spend it all on comics and sweets.
Yeah, but Daddy wouldn't be happy, would he?
Well, Daddy would be dead.
All right.
Daddy can go take a running jump at himself. In the family plot. Shipping heir Henry Ropner, 25, used to go out with Jecca Lang. They've all got crazy names, these posh people. Jecca, J-E-C-C-A. And they split in, and when they split, Wills stepped in. Now, Kate, 25, whose relationship with the prince ended in April, has been, and here's the best bit. This is the front page of the Super Soaraway today, I think. This is, and it says that they have been, in inverted commas, she rather has been, in inverted commas, enjoying Henry's company.
What does that mean?
Well, exactly. Why would they put that in inverted commas? Like it's some sort of sexual position. Oh, she's been enjoying his company, eh? On regular nights out in London. She's been enjoying him.
That's not...
He said, waggling his fingers in the air.
You can't make an innuendo out of that. It's just like a normal sentence.
Yes, you can. Innuendo. Hartford. Hello, Toby.
Hello, Nick. I haven't spoken to you since about 1994, I think.
I
spoke to you.
I've been on a lucky streak.
Yes, yeah. It was just about your sort of free-range organic stuff, you know, with chickens and cows and all that sort of thing.
Yes.
Just say that, you know, I've moved out to the countryside in the last 4 years, and I've got sort of close experience with free-range animals.
Yeah.
If that doesn't sound too seedy. And
well, it didn't until you said that.
Yeah, I know, but, you know, innuendos and all that.
Yeah.
It's, but chickens in their natural environment just, lay eggs in sort of, really good places, you know, just, they're quite,
willy-nilly.
Yeah, exactly, you know, behind doors and near horses, feed boxes and,
Do they?
You know,
that's a bit silly.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, but it's just, you know, just to sort of give an indication of what free range means, you know, I mean, I don't really, know what the, organic industry's definitions are without sounding too heavy, but, you know...
Well, I thought that it was a bit questionable about chickens. I thought that if you buy free-range beef, for instance, then it's... well, free-range organic beef, then there's certain restrictions on what you can and cannot do with a cow. But I thought that it didn't really... there was some sort of semi-scandal lately that suggested that it doesn't apply to chickens, that the same strict rules don't apply. So what... comes as organic free-range chickens might be some poor thing has been stuck in the dark all its life.
Well, that's right, yeah, but free-range, you know, literally means free-range.
Well, that's what I thought, yeah, but this story was suggesting that it didn't. They were getting around it somehow.
Well, that's right, yeah, but then the next thing is that where do you legally define what free-range is?
Yeah,
you know?
quite.
And so the parameters of it could be quite ludicrous, couldn't they?
Yes, it could have the ability to just walk in people's houses if it likes, and it'd be illegal to stop them.
But yeah, that's right. Yeah, but the point is that they do naturally sort of adhere to sort of farmyard environment. So I think even if it was like a Disney-like environment, where they sort of put fake farm doors in and fake farm stables, at least that would be moving towards a decent arena. So maybe you should. Or not you, but the industry should move to, Walt Disney kind of free-range thinking,
How's the country treating you?
With, it's, I'm obviously an imposter,
Yes.
But...
well, you'll always be an outsider, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You live in a tiny village, right?
It comes across in my voice, is it? But yeah, no, it's interesting. I think you can learn a lot, by living amongst the the locals.
And so you live. It's a very rural. You've left city life behind, right?
Yeah, well, I was more,
Don't you miss it?
Eh?
Don't you miss it? The shops and the pricey coffee and...
Yeah, I do, but I'm quite lucky because my job still takes me back into town, so I still have the, Sex and the City kind of existence. With,
oh, well, lucky old you, mate.
A rural Lidl.
I can only dream of such things.
I
But,
know, yeah.
All right, well, thanks a lot, Toby.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate, ta-da. I bought, a thing from a supermarket which was, a selection of eggs from, things that are not chickens.
Huh?
Like duck?
Yeah.
Turkey?
Turkey. Turkey eggs.
They're not so good, apparently.
I've never even heard of such a thing.
There's something not right with turkey eggs.
Really?
Yeah.
Got turkeys in them.
What do they look like?
Don't know, they're bigger than normal eggs.
Same sort of colour?
What was in the selection then? What did you get?
Ah, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
There was tiny little ones. What are they called? Quail's eggs. I don't really know what to do with those. How long do you boil a quail's egg for? I mean, you think you boil it more than 30 seconds and it'd be rock hard. I dropped them. But they didn't actually burst, they just sort of cracked. Are they alright still to eat? I've got no idea. Why am I asking you?
Maybe you weren't supposed to boil it.
Huh?
Maybe you're supposed to fry it.
Fry it? They would be the size of a button.
Oh.
Fry it.
Well, I've never seen one
Actually,
before.
that's an excellent idea. For the next time I'm going to do my party, there'll be finger food. Tiny, microscopic little fried eggs.
That would go down a storm.
Yeah, you could wrap it round a bean.
There you are.
On a stick. A baked bean on a stick with a fried egg on top. No, they had those, and then they had, bantam eggs, I think. That's a chicken, right? Of course it is. No, that's a male chicken. That would be an extraordinary thing to buy, wouldn't it? Bantam eggs, yeah.
Let's see later.
No idea what I'm talking about. But no, I think there was some sort of exotique chicken, and then they had goose eggs, which was duck eggs, which were slightly bigger and snowy white, and then goose eggs, which were gigantic. It's like, make a fist.
Yeah.
That's as big as they were, if not bigger, and almost impossible to break. I've actually needed to get a hammer out just to break them.
Why would you buy a
It was huge.
pack of eggs?
Well, foolishly, I saw it there next to the ordinary eggs, and they packaged it to make it look like a present. They packaged it to make it look like some sort of Easter gift, like it was full of chocolate.
So you were a victim of marketing?
Yes. In my mind, I'm thinking, chocolate. But it was just eggs. And after a while, you're just like, oh my god, I can't eat any more eggs. And you've still got a giant selection sitting in your fridge.
Oh well.
What did you do with the goose eggs?
Was it goose or what's bigger, a goose or a duck? A goose, right?
Goose would be the biggest
giant
one, yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
How they can squeeze that enormous egg out of its person, I've got no idea. Out of its duckness.
Yeah.
It's gooseness. Geese don't have ducknesses, they have goosesness.
Yeah.
Yes. How it can squeeze something that gigantic out of its tiny little body, I've got no idea. It must, well, no wonder they quack so much.
Yeah, it's gotta hurt.
It was hardly any albumin, almost all yolk. the biggest yolk you've ever seen in your life, and it made sticky scrambled eggs. Not very satisfactory. I think that we've chosen the correct bird to eat the fruit of.
I prefer more yolk, though.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Please tell me more.
Well, because it's the tastiest bit.
I think scrambling was the wrong decision, I think. If it's had a lot of yolk, I would have done something else. I would have poached it or even fried it. You're wasting the sort of having the large yolk by scrambling it, because you're just mixing it all up together, aren't you?
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but poached is too hard to do.
Next time.
Yeah, next time I'm cooking, I'll give you a ring, see if I'm doing the right thing. Let's have, that's a mystery mobile. Am I taking that?
I don't know, if you want.
Literally couldn't care less. Hello, you're on the air. Who's this?
Daniel.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Hello, Daniel. Well, that was a great call. Sounds like one of Ian's calls. See, it was one of Ian's calls. Ian will be back on
Monday.
Monday.
I believe, yes.
Ian's gone to Las Vegas. Does he gamble?
Well, he will be.
It's an excellent... Well, not necessarily. I went to Las Vegas. It's an excellent place to go, as long as you don't gamble.
Well, what else is there to do?
Oh, no end of things. You can just wander around and look at all the bright lights, look at the people pouring their heart and soul into slot machines.
Their life-saving.
Yeah. How they... why that appears to be entertainment to them, I've got no idea. They'll sit there, literally, and corral 5 machines to themselves, and they'll be feeding all 5 like some kind of like a metronome, like a robot, all night long, with a giant bucket of change for entertainment's sake, and I just don't get it.
It's the American dream, though, isn't it?
What, losing all your money to giant corporations?
Yeah, but they don't know they're going to lose it until it's gone.
Right. But it's an entertaining town, and relatively cheap to be in, because everywhere you go, they're trying to draw you in by offering, well, mostly booze, because there's nothing that loosens up the gambling urge more than being drunk. And also, they disorient you by not allowing any daylight in, or telling you what time it is.
Yeah.
And when your brain starts to, I think studies have showed this, that if you are disoriented by a lack of daylight and you don't know what time it is, then you start to make riskier decisions, which, if you're sitting at the blackjack table, is like money in the bank to the people that are running the casinos. I mean, they didn't build that town on a hope. They built it on our money.
Yeah, and careful research.
Yeah. So it's an excellent town if you don't gamble, because they're virtually giving everything away.
But I don't see the point in going if you don't gamble, though. It's just not, you know, it's just...
Well, you might as well say there's no point in going to San Francisco unless you're homosexual. I mean, a town can do more than one thing. I mean, they've got no end of excitement.
You can look at the waterfall outside the Bellagio and the light show, and that's
exactly.
Twice a day.
You can visit Paris and Italy and London in the course of one afternoon.
Within 20 feet of each other.
All of it will be spotlessly clean and patrolled by armed guards.
Yeah, but it's just too hot there, isn't it?
Not inside the casinos, they're air-conditioned.
Stop whining!
Stop whining.
I prefer to just stay at home and watch TV.
Good. We don't want to export misery. Do you fancy seeing the best films first and for free? Of course. You have to be out of your mind not to. You can with LBC 97.3 Film Club in association with Cineworld Cinemas. This month's must-see movie is Ocean's 13. That's had good reviews, much better reviews than the previous one did, which apparently sucked out loud.
Didn't see it.
I saw the first one, and
it's good.
Yeah, it was entertaining because you're in the company of all of these famous types, and it's just amusing. But Ocean's 13 is apparently very good. Stars George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Al Pacino, and Elliot Gould. It doesn't cost a penny to join this club. You could be going every month to see the best new movies in town before anyone else gets to see them. Just log on to lbc.co.uk, join the LBC Listener Club, and it's as simple as that. Once you're a member, you can click to request your tickets, and we. And that's where this ends. I read this out a couple of days ago, and it's still, and a couple of days ago it ended, and we.
I heard you read that out a couple of days ago.
And it still ends, and we.
Yeah.
We've got no idea. But whatever it is that we're promising you, you can absolutely guarantee it.
The suspense is amazing.
Once you are a member, you can click to request your tickets, and we. There's no doubt about that. I can back that up 100%.
How would you like that sentence to end?
The LBC 97.3 Film Club in association with Cineworld Cinemas. That much I do know. South Norwood, it's Mr. Lister.
Good evening, Nick.
Philip.
Good evening, Chris. Nick, did you see the Daily Mail today?
No.
Well, they looked at, where are they now, all the people on the cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Right.
And they made a mistake. What they've got, one of the people on there was a favourite of mine. The guy, have you ever heard of Hunts Hall?
Hunts Hall?
Yes.
No.
Hunts Hall was an actor who made a name for himself in a film called Angels with Dirty Faces back in 1938.
Jimmy Cagney, you dirty rat.
Yeah. He was one of the Dead End Kids, later became a star of the Bowery Boy films in the 50s. And what they've got here, they've got Hunts Hall, but the photograph is of a guy who used to have a band on BBC Radio way back in the 50s called Henry Hall. So looks like somebody just grabbed the first thing with Hall in it and stuck it down.
So it's on Sgt. Pepper, it's a photograph of Henry Hall.
Yeah, they got Henry Hall's
leader.
photograph and they got by the side of it, number 12, Hunts Hall.
Huh.
But Hunts Hall is the guy who's on the cover.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones, a lot of them are...
what a bunch of dopes, eh?
It says here that they reckon that Ringo allegedly made no contribution.
To any of the Beatles' music?
No,
yeah,
no, to choosing who should go on the cover.
I don't know anything about that story. The only thing I do know is that Hitler was going to be one of the characters, but they thought, maybe he's a bit too controversial.
There were three of them, according to today's paper, Nick. Hitler, Gandhi, and Jesus all dropped for being too controversial.
Huh.
So, but some of them are, I must admit I've only looked at a few of them, on the cover in the past. I mean, I saw Hunts Hall was there, but I just see that Dion of the Belmonts, Dion DiMucci was there.
Huh.
Oliver Hardy.
Yes.
Who else have we got? Stuart Sutcliffe, the fifth Beatle, as they say.
Ah, right.
Have you ever heard of Aubrey Beardsley? He's on there.
Yes, of course.
He was an illustrator, wit and author. W.C. Fields, Lenny Bruce, Mae West. Funny enough, talking about Mae West, some years ago, they had a guy in the LBC studios who was responsible for her making rock and roll records.
Mae West made rock and roll records?
Oh, yes. Have you never heard us sing Great Balls of Fire?
No.
Oh, got it. Wish I'd got handy. It's terrific, it really is. There's Great Balls of Fire on one side.
Isn't that perfect that Mae West would sing Great Balls of Fire?
Oh, she really rocks. She's a great rocker. And the other side is I Like Men, she sings.
Of course,
yeah. Which, really good. If you've never heard it, you've got a treat to come. Really, I'm not kidding.
I'll download it off the World Wide Web as soon as I get home.
Who else? We've got Sigmund Freud.
Siggy, yeah.
Yeah. Marlon Brando.
Here, have you got one of those surveys from Useless Today?
No, it doesn't come out till tomorrow, Nick.
Oh, right. Because I like the last one that you had.
Oh, what was the one about was it Inventions, wasn't it? Because you picked up on the one that they're doing tomorrow about disappearing things.
Yes, things that are disappearing.
Yeah, that should be in the paper tomorrow.
I literally can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Who else have we got here? Albert Einstein, Oscar Wilde, Tom Mix. Do you know Tom Mix?
Who's that?
Tom Mix was a famous screen cowboy. The Silent Days, and sort of forerunner of all the famous cowboys that were to follow him. John Wayne, example, and all that.
You know what? I've never sat down and listened to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. I bought it at the anniversary, whatever the last anniversary was, because they re-released it, as they tend to do all albums every 10 years.
Yeah.
But I've never actually listened to it.
What's your favourite Beatles song? Have you got one?
You know what, I'm not a giant fan of the Beatles, really.
I must admit, because I think I've told you in the past, I saw them when they just started at a radio show where they mimed on the radio without instruments. I think I've told you that before.
Yeah.
At the Paris in Lower Regent Street. But the song that I like of theirs is A Revolution.
Revolution, yes. Well, that would be one of my choices.
It's the sort of song that makes you, Diana Dawes is on the...
But not the soft version of that track, the harder, more rocky version.
Yeah, the hard one, the real, say we want a revolution. No,
please, Philip.
Yes. Diana Dawes is on the list.
Yeah.
And also someone who's still around, Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple is still around?
Yeah, well, it says here she is. 1928 she was... Because she went to work for the United Nations, didn't she?
She did?
Well, she became an ambassador, she...
Shirley Temple is still alive?
She's a US ambassador to Ghana and Czechoslovakia. Because she was the one who sang on the good ship Lollipop.
Yeah, what a...
I'm not going to sing that.
No. How annoying was that?
Bobby Breen. Have you ever heard of Bobby Breen?
No.
He's a cherub American child star with a beautiful voice. It says he's still alive. And he was in some films. I don't know how they found all these people. Sir Lewis Carroll, Marlena Dietrich, Izzy Bond. Now, Izzy Bond was a classic on the radio. He was a comedian who had his own show on radio during the war and just after the war.
Is he?
Who else have we got? Oh, Johnny Weissmuller. You know Johnny Weissmuller?
Yeah, the Mr. Universe. He was Tarzan.
Went on to play Tarzan and Jungle Jim.
It's like a quiz here.
It is, isn't it?
How much have I won so far?
Yes, you're doing well, Nick. Number one is Sri Yuki Sawa Gurley.
Oh, he's very good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was admired by Harrison.
The hippie, yes.
Alistair Crowley's number two. Who else have we got? I think I've...
Is Ozzy there?
Ozzy Osbourne? No.
You'd have been standing shoulder to shoulder with Alistair Crowley.
Oh, no, it's really... It's ingenious the way it's all been compiled. There is the only record that I think is interesting because it's got so many alleged people on it is the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band intro and outro. Have you heard that?
Oh, yes, I have. What do you mean by it?
Well, the fact is that I know with that they make out that all the people are actually playing on the song.
Right.
I mean, once on a phone-in, Neil Innes was on, and I was lucky enough to ask him how they chose all the people to be, on that particular record, to make out they were on it. And he came up with virtually the same answers for Sgt. Pepper, that they all sat round and put forward names of people that they liked.
Right.
But, it was a sort of, interesting... I like listening to that record. I can listen to that again and again.
What, Sgt. Pepper's? No, Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, yes.
Intro and outro.
Yes, okay, I've heard that an absolute dog's age.
Yeah,
There's something else I'm going to have to download when I get home.
Yeah, because the one that catches my attention, Nick, on that is the vocalist. The guy who's alleged, they always say, on vocal. Was a guy called Garner Ted Armstrong. Have you ever heard of him?
No, Philip.
Well, Garner Ted Armstrong was a radio evangelist in the early days of Radio Luxembourg. And he used to beam out the world was going to end tomorrow. And obviously, Neil Innes said that, they always used to listen to this guy and laugh themselves silly. So that's why they included him on the record.
You are a fount of information. There's no question about that, Philip. Good job as always. Thanks, mate.
Bye.
Ta-da. This is LBC. I'm Nick Abbott. I'm going to be here tomorrow at between 10 and 1 because Ian is going to be presumably coming back from Las Vegas. First class, I bet.
Business, I think.
Business?
I think, yeah. I don't know what the difference is.
I think you get more fanning in first. Slightly more space. You probably get a more luxurious seat. But let's face it, if you're spending your own money, you'd be off your chump to buy a first-class ticket.
Oh, yeah.
It's just insane. For 8 hours to get a slightly more comfortable chair. It's crazy.
It is. When you think about it, it is just a chair in...
Yeah.
In a
Mind
room.
you, he's earning TV money, so it will mean nothing to him. He'll be spraying it around. You'll probably get some.
Oh, fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's right. LBC. There's a national campaign for politeness and decency which is being launched by the government. This is what I was talking about, it seems like days ago when I started this show now. It's been launched to counter negative images of Britain. Good manners can triumph over Britain's yob culture, is the headline. Doesn't that sound great?
Yeah, 'cause that'll work.
Louise Casey, Tony Blair's respect czar.
Is that what they call her?
Yeah.
Is that her official title?
I don't know if that's no, it's not her official title, but that's what we're calling her. A respect czar. Says in an interview today that she wants schools, councils and the media to promote good manners in order to combat social breakdown. I'd love the London buses to have announcements saying, give up your seat to a pregnant woman, she says. Isn't it incredible that we've come to the point that people have to be told to do that?
Well, that's not very polite, is it?
What?
Give up your seat to a pregnant woman. Shouldn't it be please?
Please, yeah. If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
It's important to help old ladies across the road, she says. The greatest pleasure you can give is to help somebody else. And you know what? That's pretty much right. We all go around, and I know I'm guilty of this myself, you stare at the pavement and you growl at people who come anywhere near you, and you just, wander around in a well of misery and despair. Is that just me?
No.
But actually helping someone, doing something positive and good for the community. You can remember doing something positive and good, can't you?
No.
It does fill you with warmth. It can be the slightest little thing.
Yeah, but...
Like, watch out, you're about to step in dog poo. It'll just make you feel positive and glowing for the rest of the day.
But sometimes you haven't got time. If you've left, in plenty of time for work and you've got time to, take your
Smell
time.
the flowers, yeah.
And take your time getting to work, then...
Listen to the birds.
If you see someone who, or, as a woman who can't get a pram down the stairs, you've got time to go and help her. But if you're, you've left late and your train is just pulling away from the platform and the doors are about to close,
you
need
want to push
to
the old dear out the way.
Exactly. So it all depends on if you've got time to help someone.
She says, we need a greater sense that it's okay to be decent. Which sounds like a cue to a song from Spamalot, doesn't it? It is okay to be decent. You're not the nerd if you don't throw your rubbish on the floor. And I think that it's not a completely accurate way of saying it. It's not that the people think they're a nerd. It's people think that it's not hard. It's not nerdish. It's unmasculine to be helpful or kind or positive or, just to help in any way.
Yeah.
And so it's a masculine, hard thing to do, to just, if you're finished with whatever it is that's in your hand, just drop it on the floor. And then give people around you a stare that says, what are you going to do about it?
What?
That's the British psyche, right there.
So is this targeted at just blokes, then?
Well, let's face it, we are the root of all evil.
Speak for yourself.
The move adds a more positive approach to the long-standing attack on yobbery through anti-social behaviour orders. Sometimes I think that we've gone too far. ASBOs are seen as the be-all and end-all. Well, of course, ASBOs, you give a kid an ASBO, you might as well give them a medal. They love it.
They're trying to see who can collect the most.
Yeah, exactly. Like hip-hop stars compete to get into prison because that way it leads to greater sales.
Yeah, gold, silver and bronze ASBOs.
From September, children are to be given classes in social and emotional intelligence in school as part of the national curriculum. Basically teaching them how to behave in society. Because if society, I've made this analogy before, if society were a boat,
yeah,
most of us are all rowing in the same direction. We're helping.
Yeah.
The end is a small island in the distance where fruit grows freely and, the animals are tame enough for you to bite their heads off and enjoy their delicious meat. So life is easy on the horizon. That's where we're heading.
Yeah.
And most of society is all rowing in the same way.
Can't we have a motorboat?
Some people in the back are not rowing. They've got their arms folded. And it's yeah, I ain't rowing. Like that.
Yeah.
That kind of mentality.
Oh, yeah.
And some people, behind them, are actively digging holes in the boat in order to sink us.
So the rest of us have to row faster.
Exactly. We have to pick up the slack. Some people aren't helping. And if that were an actual situation, what would we do with those people? We'd toss them over the side, wouldn't we?
So
yes.
With glee.
Yes, exactly right.
But because we're not on a boat, what else are we going to do?
Teach them how to be,
say please and thank you.
Exactly. They're going to be taught basic values and a series of golden rules, such as, we are gentle, we are kind, we look after property, and we listen to people. This nice lady wants the move to be part of a wider drive to combat rudeness. Broadcasters, particularly the BBC, should use programmes such as soap operas to promote kindness and decency, she says. I hate the fact that everything is gloomy. Everybody's sleeping with each other, everybody's killing each other, everybody is committing antisocial behaviour all the time, when Britain doesn't look so awful in real life. Really, is that what soaps are full of? People are killing each other and having sex all the time.
Yeah, do you know what she's saying?
Well, no, I think I'm going to have to catch up.
Yeah, you should.
Really, is it like that? People are dying?
Sometimes, yeah. Usually on the Christmas special.
Oh, right, yeah, well, of course, you've got to cheer the family up over Christmas, haven't you? There's a public service responsibility to try to uphold certain standards of decency, she says. Children who behave well should receive rewards, rather than seeing their antisocial classmates taken on free trips, she adds. In other words...
Be polite!
Here is Pontefract. Hello, Ben.
Hi, Nick.
Ben.
Have you heard the latest news about Paris Hilton?
She's going to prison, right?
Yeah, well, apparently she's booked a hair and makeup team to make her look glamorous because she wants it to make into a big, publicity stunt.
She's going to make so much money out of this.
She's making a book as well, isn't she?
Yeah, undoubtedly, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be, easy to read, I say.
Yes.
I wondered if you've been, did you see the new Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, I saw the first one, and that was dreadful.
Well, I work at the cinema, so, get free films.
You can see the same film over and over and over again. How is it?
I really, really enjoyed it, but a lot of people were like, they prefer the first two, so if you didn't like the first one, then maybe not.
Yeah, I saw the first one under duress. It was an incredibly hot cinema that smelt of feet, as all cinemas do. Does your cinema smell of feet?
Ours has got some drain problem underneath, so it's not the nicest smelling one.
Lovely.
So there's loads of films coming out now. There's like Pirates of the Caribbean, Shrek and Simpsons and all that.
Ah, the Simpsons film. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. When's that coming out?
I think it's the beginning of July. But
they've got a high bar to reach because the South Park films.
Yeah.
Well, I think you could say there's the South Park film and then Team America: World Police.
Yeah.
That's quite a high level to reach.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll get many people to see it with it being a cartoon.
Oh, people will be queuing around the block. People love The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's true. And also I was going to mention, Chanel in Big Brother, the Posh Spice one. Well,
I couldn't pick her out of a lineup, but she's one of the blondie ones, right?
Yeah, she's the one that wants to be Posh Spice.
Yeah.
She went to my college. I went to college with her, and I actually agree with everything. I don't think anybody can really disagree with what she said, or what I've seen so far.
With what she said?
Well, she's been saying how she'd like to be a wag and stuff, but, I mean, what girl wouldn't?
But it's not much of a career plan, though, is it? I want to marry someone who's rich and famous.
True, and I suppose it only lasts as long as their husband lasts. And, but, I mean, you get an endless amount of money and an endless amount of cars, and I can't see anybody disagreeing with that.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing it myself.
I'm sure there's many of us. Well, you've heard the rumours, I'm sure.
No.
Oh, well, that quite a lot of the Premiership footballers go for, I think I'll stop there before I mention something that'll libel.
Yeah, and before we get taken off the air. All right, thanks a lot, Ben.
All right, see you, Nick.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da. Got no idea what he means. What does he mean? Let's have Wallington. Hello, Joan.
Hello, Nick.
Hello, Joan.
You were talking about meat a minute ago.
Yeah.
Just reminded me about that article. I don't know whether you saw it or not. Under this Freedom of Information Act, evidently the government has been trying to turn us all into vegans for ages. And they've actually got a campaign going, but it's got to be very subtle. Otherwise, it'll put our backs up if they know they're doing it.
Yeah, I was reading about this. I was reading this out a couple of days ago. That's right. The government actually wants us to go not just vegetarian, but vegan in order to save resources. Because, of course, meat is a rather inefficient way of getting nutrition. Because grazing animals take up an enormous amount of land, an enormous amount of caring and feed and so on. And it would be better if we ate alfalfa sprouts that come out of the ground rather than animals that eat the alfalfa sprouts. If we just ate grass, if they could persuade us to do that, to munch on a field, it'd be a lot better than going down to McDonald's.
Well, perhaps we'll all go around mooing then, will we? I mean, I don't think it's going to do us a lot of good.
Well, vegan diets don't appear to do people a lot of good.
They do not. They do not.
All of those people look ill to me.
Well, I mean, I know people who went ill, you know. I mean, that's the whole thing. It really is not good. And here are people persuading us, you know, it's that awful propaganda thing comes on, and television, of course. People are sitting watching dreadful things happen to meat, you know, and they think, oh, I'm never going to touch a burger again, or...
Yeah, well, that happened to me.
Yes, you did.
And then 20 years later, I started eating meat, and every fibre of my body burst into spontaneous applause. I can still hear the cheers ringing in my ears. Oh, thank God, they said.
I bet you haven't got around to liver yet.
Liver?
Yes.
I didn't even eat liver back in the day when I used to eat meat. No way. That's
they used to
vile.
They used to feed it raw to women in hospital after they'd had babies.
In order to...
Because to give them,
make them want
blood.
to leave hospital really quickly. Yeah.
And
give up the bed.
No, it was so nutritious. It is so nutritious that they gave it to them raw. And people who have been really ill. In fact, they used to drink blood when they've been anemic.
Huh.
Just to give them that absolute boost, sort of instant boost. It's like taking a Guinness, really, isn't it?
No. Nothing like it. But next time I'm feeling a bit under the weather, I'll pop a liver in the blender with some chocolate Nesquik. Can't wait.
But it's very nice when it's a lamb's liver. It's very tender.
I'm not doing it.
But you wouldn't even know it was liver. You'd think, oh, that's a nice tender...
No, there's something about liver. I can remember having tasted it as in school dinners. It's just got that texture that's... it's making me...
I bet that was different liver, though.
It's making me feel queasy just thinking about it.
Oh, well, you obviously haven't got around to liver yet.
I'm going to stick to the chicken and the ham.
Chicken? That's not red meat yet, then?
Bacon. No, I haven't had any red meat yet, no.
Well, you need that, just that little, you know...
Well, step by step, Joan?
Okay.
Little steps.
And by the way, I didn't think much of the Pirates of the Caribbean at all.
No, well, you nor everybody else. Yeah, well, I saw the first one, and I'm not going to... Like The Who, I won't get fooled again.
I would never. He
Unless they're advertising with us, of course, in which case everyone should go out and see it twice.
Good.
Anyway, Joan, I'll pass the break.
Okay, bye.
Thanks a lot, dear. Ta-da, LBC.
I'll tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio.
Sydenham. Hello, Jan.
Hello there.
Jan.
Yeah, two things actually, but one is very boring, but I would like the answer if anybody's got the answer out there.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to find out who sings two records for a 60th anniversary. One
boring. You were right.
One is called Pal of My Cradle Days.
It's called what?
Pal of My Cradle Days.
Pal of My Cradle Days?
Yeah, and the other one's
What does that mean?
That's the title of the song.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, that is the title of the song. It's years old.
Right.
And also, it's the other one is called When My Old Wedding Ring Was New.
When My Old Wedding Ring Was New. Yeah. Is it this one?
No, I shouldn't think so. No, they're very old. As I say, the thing is, we want to try to get them a copy of them for 60th wedding anniversary.
Oh, Jan, no one wants to hear that.
Well, there you go. And the other thing is, did anybody... Well, obviously people saw the news the other night, and I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to do it. They don't want children to put their hands up anymore in school.
Well, that does... initially, you think, oh, God, here we go again. The foolish government are opening their mouths without engaging their brains. But you know what? That does actually make a little bit of sense, because I can remember... it were not grand when I were a lad. You know, if you're in class and you're not being actively picked on by the teacher, then if you're unsure of yourself, you're definitely not going to put your hand up. Or if you're one of the lads at the back, you know, scratching your name in the desk, then you're not going to put your hand up. And so great swathes of children are never called upon to give answers.
So how are you going to answer the teacher anyway, then, if you don't put your hand up? Bang the desk?
No, the teacher's going to point at you and say, "You boy, what's the answer?"
And then if you don't know it, you're going to be shown up anyway.
You'll be thrashed. Yes, Jan.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Anyway, I'll leave it with you. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thanks a lot, dear. Ta-da. Right, what were those songs again? We've got no idea. We didn't write them down. Oh dear, what a pity.
Something about my ring not being as new as it used to be.
No.
I can't remember the other one.
Truth. Now, see, I'm the only person that's legal, decent, honest and true on this show. You're pulling us into the gutter, both of you, and I'm desperately trying to pull us out.
What?
At least we're in the gutter, but we're looking at the stars. Like Casey Kasem used to say on American Top 40. Hey! And here's a pile of wax that we had in the back since 1965.
Extremely well.
So they fought a plan to blow up the pipeline that was going into JFK Airport, and they said it was the most extraordinary plan they'd ever heard. Well, they don't watch 24 then, do they? Jack Bauer wouldn't put up with that.
He wouldn't stand for anything.
No. He's got two speeds, or two ways of communicating, shouting and whispering. Put the gun down! Put the gun down now! And he always says the same thing twice. So after shouting, then there'll be the close-up and the whispering part. Jack, it's the President. I need your head as a bookend. Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Oh, he is good though, isn't he?
Great show.
You see, they should put Jack Bauer on the Lost Island. He would get him off, wouldn't
he? Yeah, he'd deal out some justice. Exactly right. Yeah, he would sort that mess out straight away. Has anything happened on the Lost Island yet?
No.
No.
I'm still waiting.
Really? How many series are we in now?
Well, we've just finished series 3.
3?
Yeah.
Still nothing's happened.
We have to wait until, I believe,
the rest of your life.
January next year until the start of the next series.
I gave up on that before the last episode of the first series, because it was one of those programs that I watched the first one of Lost because it was tremendous. The pilot episode of Lost, it was great. It was the most expensive TV show there ever had been, some such thing. And I thought, this sounds tremendous. And then you watch, you continue to watch, and of course, American series have 24 episodes in each series, don't they?
Yeah.
As opposed to English programs, we can barely crank out 6. And it was just week after week after week, and I thought, well, what's this monster in the jungle that's shaking all the trees then? Well, they got a dinosaur on there, and we never got to find out. We never got to find out anything, really. Nothing ever happened. And I thought, if I watch the last one, it'll be a cliffhanger ending, and then I'll be forced to watch the next series. So, almost like weaning myself off heroin, going cold turkey, I thought, right, I'm going to stop now, before watching the last episode of the series.
But that happens with every TV series. They're always going to give you a cliffhanger to watch them, you know, so you watch the next series.
Yeah, but I don't mind.
No?
Oh... I was going to sneeze there. I hate when you're going to sneeze and then and you think, oh, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, and then nothing. Oh, what a disappointment.
It was disappointment. You should just look at this.
I'm bereft.
Just try and stare at some lights. That always makes me sneeze.
There are no lights in there.
Stare at some lights.
Yeah.
It makes you sneeze.
Just stare right into the bulb.
Yeah.
Look at the sun.
Yeah, look at the sun. Yeah.
No, don't look at the sun.
Yeah, for a second, a split second.
No, don't look at the sun.
Whatever.
People will be suing us.
Oh. Yeah, but...
I specifically heard them say on the radio...
Alright, don't look at the sun.
Not directly at the sun.
Just like, you know...
Not even in its vague... Don't go out when the sun's out. That's our recommendation.
Can you still look at the sun through sunglasses, though? Are you still...
No, you've never been able to do that.
That's even worse.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Why is that even worse?
Because the sunglasses dilate, your pupils are dilated more, and then you look at the sun and even more of the bad light gets in.
But when you look at it through sunglasses, you see the perfect roundness of the sun, don't you?
Like no, because you should never look at the sun at all. I'm amazed you can still see me. How many fingers am I holding up?
Well, that's just rude.
Here is Sussex. Hello, Will.
Hello. I'm actually in Kent at the moment.
Ah.
On the M25. They've shut the bridge because they're messing around with the roads or doing something, putting a new junction in or something.
Yeah, that sounds like the M25, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem.
Is he the guy who did the voice for Scooby-Doo?
Oh, that one?
Oh? Yeah.
I don't know, I've never heard that before.
And Shaggy and that lot. Perhaps somebody else might know. I'm sure he's the guy who did a lot of cartoon voices.
Casey Kasem? I wouldn't think so.
Okay, well,
Because Casey Kasem was just a cheesy DJ. Hey!
Okay, well, and he could be this guy with the same name.
Oh, are you telling me that it comes up as Casey Kasem? That's the name of the guy on the credits?
Yeah, in the end credits, I'm sure.
Well,
I'm sure.
there can't be two people called Casey Kasem.
Well, you better IMDb him.
Yeah, right.
If that's a verb.
It is now.
Yeah. I got a DVD. You know these subscription things where they send you a DVD in the post.
Yeah, I got bored of those because they'll send you one in the post and then you'll stick it in your machine and it'll get to the last scene in the film and stick. And I just couldn't stand it anymore, so I cancelled my my account.
Well, I had one through the other day, and I had a friend round, and we'd had a couple of glasses of wine, and we put it on. It was a kids' film, but we found it really, really funny, and I was wondering if you'd seen it. And it's called Hoodwinked.
It rings a vague bell. What's it about?
It's like a different take on Little Red Riding Hood, but it's been done so well, and it's really clever and just funny. And if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Especially if you like other animated things like Shrek or.
Oh, it's an animation.
Yeah, it's animated, and it's not nearly up to the technical standard of something like Shrek. Well, it's been done on a budget of sort of 5p compared with some of the
Well, you could say that of South Park, and South Park's funnier than Shrek.
Exactly. There you go. So it's inversely proportional, perhaps. But yeah, check it out because we totally weren't expecting it to be really funny. We thought, what on earth is this that's come through? And we put it on, and within a couple of minutes, we were absolutely laughing most of the way through.
Of course, you were drunk at the time.
Well, it might have been a factor, but perhaps you could be a control for us and test it out yourself.
No, I'll be drunk at the time as well. All right, I'll give it a go. Thanks, Will.
All right, see you later.
Cheers, mate. Ta-ra. Here is Hi Wycombe, Edwina.
Hi, Nick.
Hello, Edwina.
I'm going to start calling you Mr. Marathon Man.
I know. Aren't I brave, taking on this amount of work? Yeah.
I think, actually, you sound as if you thrive on this. Well, that's how it's coming over to me.
90% of me is asleep right now, and what you're hearing is just 10% ticking over.
You're on auto drive.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, maybe that works for you.
I'm all hopped up on tea.
Are you?
And crack.
Don't want to know about that. Drink lots of water as well.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said crack.
Oh,
Water,
right.
yeah.
All right, is that your definition?
It's the tiredness creeping in, yeah.
All right. Listen, I was going to talk to you, mention about the EU debate regarding feeding animals to animals, but I guess you've covered that already, so Chris tells me, but I was having a late supper, so I missed you myself hearing that.
What did you have, Edwina?
Well, I had supper cooked for me.
Really?
Yeah, which was a lovely treat.
So what was it?
I don't know what they called it, but it was a chicken dish, Oriental chicken dish.
Some mess in a bucket. You don't know really what it was, but it'd be impolite to leave it.
Don't be rude. I don't need something in the bucket. But it was Oriental chicken dish, and it was really delicious.
Lovely.
And it was lovely to have a conversation as well, and talk, and so now it's just sort of relaxing and listening to you.
That sounds fabulous.
But
if only I could be at home with a chicken dish, relaxing and listening to me.
But can I just link this? I don't know if you've heard the story of a gentleman, a Mexican gentleman, who's purported to be the heaviest man in the world, weighing in at 88 stone, and I'm sorry, I can't translate that into kilograms or pounds.
I don't know kilograms, but 88 stone, that's a lot of tortillas.
Yeah, and apparently he used to eat junk food.
Well, yeah.
But scientists have done many tests on him, and they don't think his weight is a result of eating this junk food. And the poor man lives, as I say, in North Mexico.
North and South Mexico.
North Mexico. And he lives, he's in a bed, and there's a window, like a shop front, and people, it's, known for people to stop by and look at him, because obviously they are feeling incredulous at seeing someone this enormous.
Why does he live in a shop window?
Well, because he is obviously a sight, isn't he? It's something unusual to view.
Well, yeah.
And he can't move around at all, and so he's in this bed. And
you'd have to view him in stages.
So, yeah. But friends have done a lot of tests on him, and they think the result of this weight, they don't put it down to junk food, they put it down to something, Mother Nature, but to do with his hormones. It caused a reaction for him to become this large.
Right.
So they've put him on a special diet, which, for an example, consists of giving him fish soup with lots of chunky fish in it, grapefruit, apple, and 18 nuts. Now, I don't know what the...
18 nuts?
Yeah, everything is
coconuts?
counted, and so the nuts... it has to be 18, and that's like one combination of his food. And he's lost 25 stone as a result.
He must have, his skin must fit him like a bad suit.
Can you imagine? I mean, if he can't exercise as well...
Don't you think it's extraordinary, by the way, that skin can, is such an amazing, I wanted to try and find another word for thing, but... That's all I'm coming up with now.
Organ.
Tiredness is creeping in. Skin is such an amazing organ, yeah, that it can expand to that extent.
Yes, but it's wonderful that they're helping him, and he's able to lose this much weight, and he's obviously feeling happier in himself. He can't move his legs, but he can move his arms a bit now.
If it didn't expand, you'd be like a pricked sausage.
Wow.
Bits of you would be bursting out.
Doesn't it put all our problems, into insignificance when you think of this poor guy, what he must be enduring, the simple things in life that we all take for granted, he can't do.
Like 19 nuts, yeah.
18. But
and now we're laughing.
Well, sorry.
Aren't we dreadful?
I'm laughing at you.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, it's my fault. You're a very bad woman, Edwina.
Oh, well, you're just finding that out? You enjoy the rest of your show.
Thanks a lot.
God bless.
Ta-ta. Now we've got a mental image we'll never get rid of.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
This is all about food. Let's do food, glorious food. Spicy sausages and smelly cheese hold the secrets to good sex, an Italian poll has revealed.
Well, it's because they make it, isn't it? And so they're just trying to plug their own food.
Ian hasn't actually gone on work to Las Vegas, has he? He just couldn't stand it anymore. He just had to get away, otherwise he was going to top himself.
What do you eat the sausage?
Oh, no. Not my fault. I am legal, decent, honest and true. I am surrounded by people who are dragging me down.
Oh.
A quarter of Italian women said salami was their favourite aphrodisiac, while 21% chose cheese. A quarter of Italian women said salami was their favourite aphrodisiac.
Really?
And 21% chose cheese, yeah.
How many did they survey?
I don't know.
Well, it was probably like 10, wasn't it? 10 people.
Other culinary delights that fan Italian libidos. When was the last time you had your libido fanned, by the way?
Not recently.
Include risotto alla Milanese. Ah, what's that then? Which is flavoured with saffron. Oh, that's what that is. And plates of steamed vegetables, which attract 12% of the vote. What really gets you going? Oh, let me think. A plate of steamed vegetables. What? Oysters, which are traditionally considered to be aphrodisiacs, but are relatively rare in Italy, do not feature at all in this survey published by some company who would dearly love me to mention their name on the air. Italian food is not often praised for its ability to make the heart flutter, isn't it? I thought next to France, that's where everybody went to eat. Although I spent quite a time in Italy relatively recently, and it's the same meal every day, over and over and over again.
What,
it's exactly
pizza?
the same thing. Well, unless you have pizza, but it's if you sit down to proper food, it's antipasti, which is like just a plate of vegetables or salad, something like that, followed by fish.
Yeah.
That's it. Over and over and over again. Because I wasn't eating meat at the time. Now, when I go abroad, there's a whole section of the menu which is open to me. It's quite exciting going out to eat now, because usually it was a bit of a nightmare trying to pick and choose, you know, because you never wanted the vegetarian option, because especially if you were on a set menu and it all cost the same no matter what you had,
Yeah.
you knew that you were going to get ripped off if you chose the vegetable option, because that was just that was an afterthought from the chef, wasn't it? Because no chef wants to cook vegetables as a main course. That's not what they got in the business of chefery for. They're into meat and fish and, you know, proper food. Vegetables are something that'd go with it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who would eat those vegetables.
Like, if you went to Gordon Ramsay and asked you to knock up something delicious and vegan, he'd probably slice you in two with his carving knife. Anyway.
They don't do vegetarian in Italy, do they?
Well, no, pretty much that's right. And some countries that you go to, unless you... they don't eat fish either, because Italy does all the fish, so I was okay. There were things to eat. I mean, if you ask for a vegetarian dish in Italy, they'd be like, what?
So when you go abroad, you indulge in the local cuisine? Because whenever I go abroad, I just...
Don't say it.
I just spend the time looking for,
Don't say it.
You know, somewhere that does egg and chips.
Oh no! I knew you were going to say that.
What's wrong with that?
You don't, surely. Tell me you don't. You're making that up.
Yeah, because, you know, you don't know what you're getting.
That foreign mug?
Yeah.
Italian food is not often praised for its ability to make the heart flutter. But no, I thought that was completely the other way around, because aren't Italians supposed to be oh so horny? And what they eat makes, you know, what you eat makes the man. So
yeah, the ones I've met are.
Makes them hornier.
It's just for men.
So, you know, I thought that the two went together. Apparently not, according to this article. The director of a Centre for Assisted Procreation said, the benefits of the Mediterranean diet on libido are clear. He linked the consumption of nduja, a fiercely hot salami from Calabria, with an increase in blood flow. Food and sex are a magical alchemy of ingredients, said an Italian sexologist. But it is important with cuisine to drown all the senses. She advised women to concentrate on how they lifted food to their mouths and chewed discreetly to create an intimate atmosphere.
I don't get the food and sex at all. It just doesn't go.
Right. So if I offered you some hot salami action, you'd say no.
I took the inside. We're running late!
Glastonbury's coming up soon.
You got your ticket?
No, I don't do that anymore. I stopped going when it got too big.
When it got too muddy?
Well, I was there the year... the first year that it really pelted down with rain, and it's just not pleasant. Because the one thing that you want to do at Glastonbury is sit down. And the one thing that you cannot do when everything is knee-deep in water is sit down.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes a living hell. And everything is wet. There's nothing that you've got that is not damp, at the very least. Your tent, your sleeping bag, just everything.
Can you go there just for the day, though? Do you have to stay overnight?
They used to sell day passes, but I don't think they do that now because the demand is so huge. No, you're forced to stay there. Unless you're Kate Moss and you get choppered in and out. And then there'll be pictures of Kate Moss wandering around Glastonbury with her hair all done, and commentators will say, isn't she fabulous? She looks so wonderful. Well, yeah, of course she does. She's staying in a blooming 5-star hotel and she's getting choppered in and out. But the lineup's just been announced. The Who, the Killers, and the Arctic Monkeys will headline the Glastonbury Festival. Lily Allen, Paul Weller, Amy Winehouse, and Dame Shirley Bassey will also feature in the full lineup of 200 musicians and other acts that are going to be performing later this month. And you know what? Hardly any of those acts seem like Glastonbury acts to me. Because I started going in 1982, just after I left university. And I went almost every year for about 10 years. And it was so different a festival in 1982. It was absolutely unrecognisable. Because then there was, I don't know the exact figure, so I'll just pull one from space. Say 20, 30,000 people. It was such that you could sit down on the grass and watch a main act on the pyramid stage. These days, you'd be lucky to get in the same field.
Is there just one stage then, or is there...
No, there were many stages. It wasn't a giant thing that it is now, but it covered more or less the same area.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in the same place, and there'd be a couple of stages, and, you know, and the further away from the pyramid stage you go, it would get more and more hippie and alternative, until you got out to the green field, when... It might as well be a Seminole Indian camp.
Oh, I could think of nothing worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great days, though. I mean, that was properly fantastic to be let loose at that age in an environment which was still Britain, still modern day, and yet had none of the rules, regulations, and values that society outside had. To the point that when you left, after spending like 5 days there,
yeah,
because you'd go early and leave late, outside seemed so square, man. Everyone was just, I don't know, they didn't have they weren't groovy. And they just looked so straight, and everyone seemed so depressed and down.
But big gigs like that only work if they've got big screens next to the stage. Otherwise, you know, there's no... You could be watching anybody on that stage.
Well, I find that it's... Well, yes, I agree. But when I started going, you could get to within 10 yards of a main act without having to be up the front all day to keep your place. Now, I need to go to the loo every now and again. I like to have a drink, you know, occasionally. I don't want to just stay at the front of a crowd to keep my position so I can scream at whoever it might be. Arctic Monkeys, like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, now it's so busy now that, you know, if you want a drink, you're going to be queuing for, like, most of the afternoon.
Exactly. It doesn't sound like fun at all to me now. When I started going, it must have been 20 or 30,000 people, something like that. Now it's 177,000 people. That is insane.
As many people as are in Bristol.
Yeah, it's a small
city.
Town. Yeah, pretty much. That's right. And that doesn't make any sense to me at all. That doesn't seem like fun, because you have to queue for everything.
Yeah, and also you go in there and it's got everything you need now. It's got like cash points.
I know.
It's got,
and that doesn't sound like a festival to me either. That sounds like going to see music in a city. And it's really strange, actually, being in Glastonbury, because you see what's in front of you, and there'll be, you know, roads of food wagons and so on. Only every now and again do you lift your eyes to the horizon and you think, oh yeah, I'm in the countryside.
Yeah.
Because it's, particularly now, it is like an urban environment.
It's just tense everywhere, isn't it?
Well, it's tense, and well, when I went initially, it was literally Earth Mothers digging ovens in the ground, like I don't know what you would call them, but digging like cooking holes in the ground and putting pies in there that they'd made themselves, and then you'd offer them a string of beads or you know, whatever it might be that you got on you, and they'll give you a slice. These days it's double-decker buses selling pizza and burgers, and it just doesn't seem like Glastonbury to me. It seems too commercial and urban and too civilised.
Also, when you go and watch the gigs, do you just leave your tent in a field?
Yeah.
Open.
So anyone could go into your tent?
Well, more than that, anyone can pick up your tent and take it away.
And move it.
Yeah.
And swap it with another tent.
And of course, crucially, in the early days, when I were allowed, you used to be able to park next to your tent, because you lock all your kit away in the car, and then you transfer it to the tent when you want to go to sleep, right?
Yeah.
These days, you park your car about a mile away, and then you trudge down a lane, and you pitch your tent with a lot of other tents, because, of course, a lot of people are getting drunk and stoned and driving off in their car over tents with people lying in them. So they had to put a stop to that. And now the car park's somewhere else, and your tent is in a tent park, which means that the round trip takes you about an hour to go and get your kit from the car before you can have a kip.
It's happening. It's wild. And it's now.
That's an excellent question. How fast would you have to go west in order for the sun not to set? When I start thinking about astrological phenomena, my brain seizes up.
I know the answer.
Do it. Do you?
Yeah.
It's as fast as we're rotating, right? It's 15,000 miles an hour.
It's 1,000 miles an hour.
1,000 miles an hour is the right answer, I'm guessing, just because you said it. How do you know that, then?
Because I was working on a program a few days ago where it came up, and someone brighter than me phoned in and gave us the answer and explained. I can't remember what. Something to do with 24 hours in a day, and something like that. I can't remember. You have to. That's at sea level, though. If you go higher, you have to go faster. So if you're in a plane at 35,000 feet, you'd have to go a lot faster than 1,000 miles an hour.
See, my brain's seized up already. It's almost like talking to a financial advisor. God, I hate those people.
You're glazing over.
Yes, that's right. As soon as they start with with whatever it is they talk about, I'm asleep. I've got no idea.
How much would you like to buy a house for? So do you get any sleep at Glastonbury at all?
Well, the first year we went, we made the mistake of camping near to the dub tent, which is a very bad idea.
What's the dub tent?
Loud,
a lot of bass,
reggae, loud dub reggae all night long. Impossible to sleep through.
Well, that was clever.
It cannot be done. Yeah. But once you're parked, you can't move, because people will move around you, and you have to wait for everybody else to leave before you can. You see.
Yeah.
So. And when you park, it's during the day, and the dub tent didn't reveal itself. It didn't reveal its purpose until 3 o'clock in the morning. Surprise! But there must be festivals that are as small as that now. I'm sure that there are. There are more manageable and less crazy. People just go, I think, because it's on TV.
Yeah. That's the only reason it's gotten popular, because they just started televising it, and
yeah,
it all looks great on TV. They show, the tents which are really close to the stages, and
well, on TV you don't have to stand up to your bottom in mud for hour upon endless. It got to the point. The point that when I stopped going was not the year that it rained, because that was deeply unpleasant, but it was an unusual event for the time, because I'd been about sort of 8-9 years previously. Come to find out that since then it rains, almost every year like clockwork. They really should move it. I mean, I know it's around the it's around the equinox, isn't it? The longest day or something like that. But so what? Who cares? Move it to July. It rains less. You'd think they'd figure it out after a while.
Move it to another country. Move it to Spain.
Well, that's not such a bad idea, yeah. I can't remember where I was going with this. Tiredness is creeping in.
You stopped going after it, not after it rained, but
after the point at which, if you're in the main field in front of the pyramid stage, for instance,
yeah,
and the band that you're interested in finishes, and you want to go and see somebody else, you find that you actually can't leave the field, because the crush trying to get through the narrow opening from one field into the next just makes it a physical impossibility. So you're stuck there, whether you like what's coming on next or not. At that point, I thought, this is not fun anymore.
What, for the whole day?
Well, pretty much for hours, until the crowd disperses. Because if a band stops then half the crowd leaves to go somewhere else, and the bottleneck to get out of the Pyramid stage to go anywhere else was, I mean, you think that the rush hour on the tube is bad, but this was actually properly insane.
Yeah.
So you're really stuck in the field to hear whatever comes on next.
And do all the...
And it could be Rolf Harris.
Oh, no! Oh, God, really?
Oh, yeah, they keep inviting Rolf Harris back. I think it amuses them.
What's the novelty act this year?
Dame Shirley Bassey. Mind you, that's a pretty good novelty, though. Yeah. I mean, she can still belt them out.
But I think Rolf lives nearby. That's the only reason he gets nearby.
What, he's handy. He's a handyman.
Yeah.
Yeah, they asked for a handyman. They thought the guy was going to come around with a hammer. Turns out it's Rolf.
But do all the main acts perform on the main stage, or do you have to go, run around to different stages to see?
Well, in my experience, I mean, I went to Glastonbury quite a few times and didn't see any music at all. Because there's so much else going on. Like one year I stayed in the comedy tent for 3 days.
Yeah.
It's the best place to see stand-up comedy that I've ever been to. Because I was invigorated to see comedy after sucking all this comic talent up at Glastonbury. So I went to comedy clubs when I came back to London.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? They're not funny because everybody's sitting in chairs and, a little bit tipsy, but that's it. They're not spaced.
Just too forced, isn't it?
It's too forced and it's too formal, yeah. It's certainly the best place to see comedy I've ever seen, yeah. And there's also circuses and there's just no end of things going on, both outside and inside your mind.
That still hasn't sold it to me.
No, don't go. Well, you've got no chance of going now, of course, but don't even think about it next year. It's got too big. It's eaten itself. It sucked all the enjoyment out of it, really. I think you really got to have never been before to think that it's great.
And for the price of it, you can get yourself aboard for that, can't you?
You could buy a house. Yeah, you could. You could go to you've got Ibiza. Mind you, the first year that they had dance music there, I think it was the first Summer of Love, or the second Summer of Love, 87, I suppose it would have been.
Yeah.
That felt properly strange, because previously it had only been hippie, like Melanie would come on, or John Martin, or, some of these old hippies would come along and strum acoustic guitars, and everybody would be like, oh, that's far out, man. And then suddenly there were all these kids with smiley T-shirts on and Dayglow sticks in their mouths, and we're thinking... This isn't right. This isn't Glastonbury. But that crowd took over.
Oh. How disappointing.
So, no, I don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I...
grew up.
Yes.
It's a young person's thing, isn't it, really?
Well, you know what? No, it isn't really.
Isn't it?
Well, the people that... The kind of mentality... that is a commonly held mentality, like going to clubs is a young person's thing. Well, not if you look at the age of the DJ. All those superstar DJs, they're knocking on 50 now.
Yeah.
Paul Oakey, Cokenfold, and, all of that lot. They're ancient, yeah. Fat Boy Slim, all of them, they're, virtually collecting their bus pass now. So it's not a young person's game, really. It's been run by old people. Same with festivals. It was the younglings who kind of looked out of place in the old days because everybody else looked as though they did hippie for a living.
Yeah.
And you urbanites kind of looked a bit out of place in your smart, clean jeans. Other people looked like they really did this all the time. The old ones who looked like they were, part of it.
Yeah, you kind of got to be an outdoorsy person though to go, haven't you, as well?
No.
You do?
Well...
you got, You don't
have to be a Boy Scout.
Yeah, but camping ain't for everyone.
Yeah, it's not really camping, though. I mean, you are in a tent, but...
Well, that's camping, then.
Well, I suppose so. Technically, yes. But you're not in a field, cooking over a Bunsen burner, or whatever they call that, on a Calagas stove.
No, you've probably got a burger van down the...
Exactly, yeah. Somebody will come around with a bucket of muesli in the morning, and I'm asking if anybody wants to buy a bowl for £2.
Yeah, but the thing is, but it's still, you know, camping, and which involves, you know,
being outside,
not having a very comfortable night's sleep, not being able to wash in the morning.
Yeah,
you know,
that you sort of never get used to that.
No.
Because you're out there, you know, perspiring like crazy for one reason and another, and not having a wash for 5 days. That really is quite unpleasant.
Yeah, there's two things don't go well. Yeah, so that's another reason I'm not going, is because you have to camp.
Right, we'll add it to the list. Plus, it's outdoors.
Yeah,
and everyone knows that's awful.
BGR Bloomer Solicitors.
For the old air outlook, I've just come to read the meter.
Right, we have another How Low auction running at the moment for a home entertainment system with an LCD TV, which is 32 inches across, a DVD, and surround sound. Oh, that's pretty good. All you need is a sofa and a box of popcorn, and you got yourself set. You have the opportunity to win a hot new home entertainment system in our special How Low reverse auction competition, which is running now and ends later today, 2 p.m. That's today, right? 2 o'clock this afternoon.
2 p.m. this afternoon.
Yeah. You can win the latest top-of-the-range technology, including a 32-inch LCD TV, DVD, and a surround sound system. Remember that it's the person with the lowest unique bid that wins the competition. That's the lowest bid in pence that nobody else makes before the end of the auction at 2 o'clock this afternoon. To bid, text LBC plus your bid in pence to 88821. So if you're going to bid 173p, £1.73 for instance, it would be LBC 173 to 88821. Lines closed 2 o'clock this afternoon. Bidders must be over 16. Bids cost £1.50 plus your standard network rate. See lbc.co.uk for full terms and conditions. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
You know, the chief of Channel 4 doesn't like Big Brother.
What?
Lord Putnam, the deputy chairman, I guess he's the deputy chairman of Channel 4, said yesterday that he was not proud of the company's flagship Big Brother programme. He went on to suggest that the reality show would eventually be replaced, but only when it stopped bringing in vast sums in revenue. It makes 15% of the total amount of revenue that Channel 4 brings in a year.
15?
15, yeah.
Wow.
Just the one show.
So
they really can't get rid of it. They're stuck with it forever.
But the thing is, if he's such a high-up boss, then why does he allow it?
Well, they can't get rid of it, because without it, they're screwed. 15%. No company on earth would give away 15% of the revenue just because they didn't like it.
Yeah, but
I mean, even if they were boiling up human remains and selling them in pies, it was making 15% of their revenue. They'd just have to keep doing it.
Channel 4 seemed to be doing all right before it came along now.
Doing 15% better now, then.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, Big Brother's capacity to offend was exceeded by one of its sister shows in Holland. Aha! This is the story that I was talking about earlier on, and all the newspapers were up in arms about this. The Big Donor Show, this thing from Endemol in Holland, plans to show a terminally ill woman selecting which of 3 contestants will receive her kidneys. But it was all a stunt. And that's the thing with newspapers, they don't ever check anything. A story will come in on the fax machine, or someone will email it to them, and they'll just print it. And there are no checks, there's no such thing as journalism anymore.
Yeah.
And they're safe in the knowledge that if they print it one day, and it turns out to be false, then no one will remember, because they just toss the paper away.
They were just quick to try and find something wrong with Channel 4.
Yes. Well, yes, that's right. They wanted to. They were in attack mode.
Yeah.
And so, if they'll say black is white on one day, and then the very next day they'll say that white is actually green.
Yeah.
They can say it with confidence because no one will remember that the previous day they'd said the complete opposite thing. They'll say, "Well, we've been saying this all along."
Yeah, no one's going to check.
No.
Who keeps the newspapers?
Paul McCartney has criticised Big Brother. The ex-Beatle called the Channel 4 show a celebration of mediocrity. in which he is an expert.
Yeah, I was wondering what his involvement was in it all.
He's been honing mediocrity with every release he's made since Band on the Run. Is anyone remotely interested in Paul McCartney's music anymore?
Or him?
Well, we're only interested in him because of Heather.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, if he'd married anybody else, if he'd married someone that wasn't so interesting, in inverted commas, then he wouldn't be in the nation's consciousness. We'd be thinking, oh, Paul, is he still alive? We can't really quite remember.
So we were more interested in her than him.
We were more interested in the car crash of the relationship than we were than anyone's been interested in Paul McCartney since the Beatles, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he keeps releasing records, bless him. Why he keeps doing that, no one has any idea. How much money do you need?
Well, maybe it's the passion.
For the music?
Yeah.
No one could be passionate about the music he's churning out, no offence. Not even him, surely. I suppose it's in you and it has to come out. But you could just be playing music for your own enjoyment. You don't have to foist it on the general public and then watch the charts to see whether it's a success or not. Yeah. It's like Elton John. I think it becomes an obsession. It's like all of these billionaires who continue to work. I mean, how much money would you need before you stop working? Couple of million.
Me? Oh, not even that. Give me $1 million and I'm done. I can I could cope.
Well, the interest that you make about
at least
50 grand a year.
50.
Yeah,
more than that.
That's perfect.
Sensible.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
No problem.
But don't you need don't they say you need about 30 million to live a millionaire's lifestyle these days?
Well, it depends what you mean by a millionaire's lifestyle. If you want a yacht, then probably yes.
Yeah.
If you want to keep up with the Abramoviches,
yeah,
almost certainly. But
it's 'cause it's a drug. You can never have enough.
Well, it is a drug in that respect. And I asked Richard Branson this in a very drunken moment. Why do you keep doing it? I said. I'm not sure I used the phrase, how much money do you need? Because he was my boss at the time.
You might as well have, though.
Yeah, well, I was very, very drunk. And unfortunately, I asked him a lot of questions, and I earwigged him. That's not the right phrase, is it? I badgered him for, half an hour. We were at an event, and he was flitting between tables, doing his, working the room. And we got to my table, and I don't think I let him go. We were talking for ages. I've got no idea what he said. I was I was completely out of it.
Oh, so was he there on the team building exercise? Or?
Well, it was in a previous place that I used to work. I think we had an anniversary of some sort, and we all decamped to a bar.
Yeah.
And he showed up, I think, as a surprise. No one was expecting it, and here's the big boss. And everybody sat up straight, except me. I was slumped in my chair. I was too drunk at the time. And one of the things that I asked him was, why are you doing it still?
Yeah.
And I've got no idea what he said.
Oh. That would have been the answer to all our questions.
I know.
I want to know.
Exactly, yes. Of all the people that you could buttonhole, you'd really want to remember every single thing he said, because there's a man who knows what success is.
Yeah.
He knows the secret to life, really. And I've got no clue what he said to anything I asked him. But I think it is the case that it's not the money anymore, it's the thing of it.
Yeah, but you're right. Well, it's a strange thing for Paul McCartney to do, is to, release his singles onto the general public. He already knows he's a success.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
right.
They're trying to better themselves.
Well, the problem with having been in the biggest band of all time is you're never going to do that.
Again.
People will never like you as much as they did then. You'll never make music that touches the world as much as you did when you didn't have any lines on your face.
Yeah.
And so it's almost, you're on a loser before you do anything. Why does he keep bothering? I don't get it. It can't be for the money, so it must be the adulation that he misses. Probably one of the reasons that the Stones keep going. They don't need the money anymore, surely. But I think they miss the love
from the fans.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty good show, the Rolling Stones. although, and I mentioned this the other day, Keith Richards doesn't seem to be able to play the guitar very well anymore. It's just a bit of a noise. There's no distinct notes anymore. It's just a sound that maybe it was just the PA wasn't particularly good, but it didn't seem that either he or Ron Wood could play the guitar very well.
Well, like you say, they're not there for the music, they're there for the fans.
Mick Jagger, on the other hand, was extraordinary. As a front man, I think there's hardly anybody that's better, really, for just energy. I mean, how old is he now? He's like 60.
He's old. He's the same age as my dad. The thought of my dad doing that on stage, it's just, there's no comparison.
Yeah, embarrassing.
Yeah.
So how old is that? That's like 60...
67.
67?
Yeah.
He is not 67.
No, he's not, yeah, I think he's
no
maybe 65.
way.
He's certainly over 60.
That's incredible, because he does not stop. He's like the Duracell bunny, without mentioning any brand names. Duracell, you say? And the whole show is about him. He carries the whole thing. All the others just seem to be, well, they seem to be back in their hotel, mentally. They might as well phone their performance in.
Keith Richards is in Pirates of the Caribbean 3.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Best thing in it.
But it's worth going along just to see Mick Jagger run about, and he forces you to enjoy it. Even if you're a bit sceptical, it's the Rolling Stones, and, you know, everyone that was surrounding me were in the free seats that were given out by the industry.
Yeah.
And those people, you know, if you ever get industry seats, you're usually surrounded by empty seats, because people in the industry will get given tickets and then they won't show up.
Yeah.
Or the people that do take it aren't that bothered because they haven't paid. Everybody else in the crowd had paid £100, £200, £300, whatever it was, to go and see the band. But you're surrounded by people who aren't that bothered because it doesn't cost them anything. So it doesn't matter if they don't enjoy it, they haven't invested anything in it.
Yeah.
But all of those people were on their feet as well. And it was, even if you were sceptical and you didn't feel like this was really for you, Mick Jagger just grabbed you by the throat and he wrenched you to your feet. So it's, he is worth the money.
I bet the audiences that are still going to see him are the same audiences that were watching him 20 years ago. Right?
Yes. And you know what? He's better now than he was 20 years ago. 40 years ago, perhaps not. But I saw him in Wembley in 82.
Yeah.
Is that 20 years ago? Yeah, more or less.
Pretty much.
And he was better last year than he was in 82.
So it has worked for him then, basically. If, you know,
whatever he's taking, yeah, absolutely. I'll have a couple of pints of that. Who's coming up after the new news?
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. How you going? He's doing well. He's very tired.
Everyone's really tired at the moment.
He's very tired and he hasn't even started yet. Yeah, so am I. I'm dreaming of my bed. I've got a week of this coming up. I'm doing Ian tomorrow. Let me rephrase that. I'm doing Ian's show tomorrow between 10 and 1.
Yep.
With you two? You two? Well, I'm going to see your happy, smiling faces.
Yeah, I'm in. But yes. I think we have Elliot with us, who's next door at the moment with Anthony Davis.
Right. It's all getting very confusing here, because Ian's away, Paul's away, Jenny's away. Is there anyone still left in the building?
No.
Yeah. I think Carol was away as well today.
Was she?
I think so.
But Carol was sitting in for somebody else today, wasn't she? Wasn't Carol sitting in for Jenny?
No. James O'Brien and his wife sat in for Jenny today.
Right.
I don't. Maybe Carol must be off for the weekend.
Yeah.
So Carol's away, Jenny's away, Paul's away, Ian's away. It's the Marie Celeste. There's no one left.
It's like it's half term, isn't it?
And I'm offered multiple shows a day now. Like, various people are calling me up, can you do 7 to 10? And then somebody else will call up and say, can you do 10 to 1? And I had to say, no, I've just said, I just said to one of your colleagues that I'll do another show.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do 3 shows a day. That would be extreme.
You could do 7 till 1 though, couldn't you?
7 till 1.
That's just one show. It's one long show.
Well, it doesn't, it sounds like a hell of a long show, but in America, people do 5-6 hours of talk in a go.
Yeah.
But they are surrounded by a team. Yeah, a giant team. To the point that you can actually take a nap.
And let them go on with it.
Exactly, yeah. But that's not the case here.
Afraid not. No.
So it works that I'm on tomorrow between 10 and 1, and then I'm doing Clive, because Clive's gone now. So we'll add him, so it's Clive and Paul and Ian and Jenny and Carol, all gone.
Yeah.
The rats is not the nicest way to put it, but the animals are leaving the ship. We're not sinking. No. You see, this is tiredness setting in, my mouth is running away with
Maybe
me.
they've all gone away together. Do you think?
Well, maybe, like the Big L, this radio station in Frinton-on-Sea, they've all decided to buy a house with each other.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, me too, yeah. If only there was such a thing where people could go into a house and interact with each other and you could see it on television. If only they could come up with something like that, wouldn't it be great?
Making millions.
Yeah, I'd watch that. I'd even watch them sleep.
Really?
So what have we talked about so far tonight? We've talked about goose eggs.
Talked about cows eating meat.
Yeah.
Big Brother. Glastonbury. Got quite a bit.
I'm out.
The eggs was my favourite.
You always have to make notes, because then you try and work back and you'll never figure it out.
Yeah, you should always write these things down.
Right, so that's what we'll do tomorrow. That'll be your homework for tomorrow. Write everything down.
I will.
And then we'll be able to spew it back out at the end of the show, and we'll be able to look at it, almost as a child shows the potty to its mother. Look what I've done, it'll say. And the mother will pat its child on the head and say, haven't you done well? And you can do that to me tomorrow.
Okay, if you want me to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Okay, I'm out. I'll be asleep in about 10 seconds as I drive my car home. And I'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Do have a nice one, and if you've missed any part of this super show, let me remind you that it is available on a podcast. All you need is a pod and a pewter to drag it off the net on. And it's lbc.co.uk. You'll find all of that exciting content there. In it.